up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. This last week was our biggest ever for our members, including 2 more millionaires. Let's get to the winners. NFL was our biggest cash cow last week, highlighted by some great calls across all of our content, including JT Hayes being all over the 49ers game script on Sunday. Subscribe to our YouTube page now so you don't miss calls like this.
A little bit like the San Francisco defense, 3,200. I think Todd Bowles is a terrible head coach. And I think they'll come in with a terrible game plan in this game. And I think they could get wiped. I think it means a lot of touches for Christian McCaffrey. So if you simply pivot from Henry to McCaffrey, that's a huge ownership discount.
In addition, our cores and player pools were littered with the highest scoring players on the slate. Our members were in sync with our content and the leaderboards proved it. Peter Pan 14 kicked things off, hitting for $117K in NFL Showdown. J-Dub 115 hit for $7K. Sammy Davis Jr. hit for $10K. OG member Brittany turned $75 into $11K. J. Reed won $30K. CSP 246 shipped $40K. Craven or Vad used Mangones and my weekly construction advice to hit for $40K. And K. Phallic hit for $46K with a Russell Wilson lineup. We'll get to our biggest NFL winners in just a second, but first we need to shout out some big wins in our other sports. Our content continued to crush in the soccer streets with NYG fan hitting for $10K. K. Phallic's hot streak continued in the World Cup, shipping for $27K. In NBA, Long Dick Dong hit for $7K, while in MMA, Sevens Vox shipped a monster $51K. At RunPureSports, we take pride in featuring content contributors who actually make a living playing DFS. We put our money behind our picks on every slate, unlike many of our competitors. There's nothing better than when our members benefit from our content, and this week was the best week yet, producing 2 DraftKings Millie Maker winners to follow up last week's Millie Maker success. Shout out to Deepwater, who shipped $1 million in the 44-44. And huge shout out as well to Gordon Jonathan. He shipped the $20 Millionaire Maker with a monster score of 272 DK points, blowing away the competition. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Until next time, let's keep running pure.
It's week 15. It's off the chalk. It is Sunday morning. Get your coffee, get your breakfast, get your strudel, whatever you're going to eat this morning. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're not playing games this morning. 800 likes, you get the plays of the day. That'll lead us right into the morning wood. Good morning to you. We have a 10-game slate. We were blessed with a lovely Saturday slate. 2 great games, sandwiched by one of the worst football games I've ever seen in my life. But we were spoiled yesterday. Hopefully we can be spoiled again today. Our guy Tambo is trying to bring home the DraftKings championship. And instead, boy, do we have a special treat. We have a special treat. My guy Snyder is here with us this morning. Snyder, good morning. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Excited to fill in these shoes here and jump on a show with you. I probably haven't seen you since last March, so it's been a while. We had some fun nights there. I think that one time in the car, you were like, "Don't worry about getting pulled over. They're not going to mess with me," or something like that. It was a fun time. Looking forward to dive into the slate with you.
Yeah, I can't remember saying that. It's entirely possible, but it's definitely good to see you on this Sunday morning. I'm going to have to jump on some of the betting shows, some of the other shows that you do, maybe that Saturday night show. So good to see you. Excited to get your thoughts. AP, 2 things. 1, still no Kyle Pitts, but the Chiefs are on this slate. So I know you've got to be excited for today's matchups.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great, I couldn't imagine a better tournament slate today, JT. I mean, it sets up to be fantastic. First, though, we got to shout out everyone out there from the RPS community that, has a shot at 2.5 million. life-changing money, the absolute dream. We got Big T, we got Lux, we got Tambo. Shout out to you guys. We got members out there as well. Man, what an opportunity. Hope you guys run Pier and stay dialed in. Like, we got contrasting styles. Like, I bet Tambo right now, locked in, not talking to anyone, probably kicked his wife out of the room. Like, just locked in, focused. You got Big T probably hanging out on the bench with the wife, just chilling, dialing in the winner. So one of them's going to bring it home. Best of luck, fellas.
Yeah, Tambo's dialed in. He usually puts out the Tambo tidbits. I was looking for it. I was searching.
They weren't there. That's crazy.
No tidbits this week. I said, what am I doing? So I had to go to all the guys that he was following, putting that stuff out and dig them up myself. So good luck, though. Good luck, Tambo, Big T, all of our other guys there. Of course, it's a Sunday, so you can expect. What can you expect at Run Pure Sports? Well, someone's going to win the Millionaire Maker. We had two Millie Makers last week. Our girl Alicia the week before, her and her wife getting Benihana after the big win, slamming shots of tequila. How could you not hit the like button for that? Let's get to 800 very, very quickly. See our people in chat. Hit us up. Tell us who you think is going to be the Millionaire Maker winner this week. And also, if you're not watching, or if you're watching and you're not a member. So if you're watching and you're not a member, we've got a new code. It's Christmas time, it's holiday time, it's Hanukkah time, it's Kwanzaa time, all the holidays this time of year. Ho, ho, ho 25 gets you 25% off of your first month membership. Ho, ho, ho 25 is the code. No coincidence. Ho, ho, ho 25. Zach Wilson is back, and it's MILF Manor season. So go ahead, ho, ho, ho 25. Get that 25% off of your first payment. AP, let's get right into this. Quarterback here. Interesting slate because you have some spend-ups that are maybe a little bit more difficult to pair just because we're not really sure where the ball is going to go, but certainly good options. And you've got some pay down quarterbacks that are going to be a little bit less popular. Top 3 projected ownership, your guy Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert. You're going to stick in that range, or you're going to get off the chalk here on week 15.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Mahomes projects as the highest because this Texans defense, like against opposing quarterbacks, receivers, has not been like terrible. And part of the reason is just they're so bad against the run. So it does set up to be like a Pacheco day. And so like I'm not as high on Mahomes. I am high on this game. We'll get to those takes a little bit later, but I got some wild takes that I feel very confident in. I'm very high on Jalen Hurts today. Jalen Hurts 8,200. I think if you're spinning it up, I think he's the best option. Between him and Mahomes, you get the rushing upside. He just continues to print in these smash spots. And sure, the game could get out of hand, could blow out, but that was the case with the Titans. Jalen Hurts smashed. That's been the case many times this season. He continues to smash. It's just so valuable what he can do with his legs, rush in a touchdown. He can throw it. He's got 2 just beasts of targets in AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. I see little like path to failure for Jalen Hurts. So if you're spending up, if you can find that value, which I think I can on the slate, I absolutely love him. My favorite option. As far as like stacking and correlation goes, Justin Herbert stands out. And he's going to be the absolute chalk for sure. You would think anyway. It's just this Titans team. You can't run on them. We'll talk about that at the running back section. You can't throw on them. The true pass funnel. Herbert has his weapons back. Keenan Allen, just guy's an absolute target monster. He's too cheap here at 6,800. So there's just so many natural ways to correlate with Justin Herbert. So as far as spend up goes, I'm very high on Jalen Hurts. I'm very high on Justin Herbert. And then one guy in the mid range that I also like quite a bit is Dak Prescott. I think this Cowboys Jaguars game has shootout potential. I think we all love the Cowboys defense. They're phenomenal in the right spot. They also play down to their opponents at times. And Trevor Lawrence, I'm not saying I'm on Trevor Lawrence, but he's been pretty good of late. So I think the Jaguars can respond. I think Christian Kirk, Zay Jones are find ways to run it back. But I think Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, or even Dalton Schultz, we've seen tight ends do very well against this Jaguars team. I think that's going to be a stack that I get some exposure to as well.
Yeah, interesting spot for Dak here. Of course, we haven't seen the big game out of Dak. They've relied on Zeke and Tony Pollard, but man, it is a really, really good spot here on the road at a Jacksonville team that has been allowing a ton of points and also has been putting up a ton of points. Snyder Mahomes, Herbert, Hurts. You've got Dak Prescott there. There are perhaps some other plays in the lower range. We've got good props on Mac Jones, although he doesn't have any receivers. I mentioned Zach Wilson is back against a Detroit defense that's given up a ton of points to opposing quarterbacks and opposing offenses. The question there is, can you trust what the game plan is going to be? And then I got to say it just because I talked about this team last week. We haven't seen Tom Brady below 6K in I don't know how long. Mike Evans is just 6,200, Godwin 67, both the running backs in the mid fives against the Cincinnati team that, as good as they've been, has shown a tendency to lay an egg on the road every now and then the past couple of seasons. The problem is, once again, going back to last week, Todd Bowles, this coaching staff, just so bad. Such a lack of creativity, such that the news is out that maybe Tom Brady is actually changing the game plan the night before. Got a little chippy with the media there. What do you think of the chalk quarterbacks, and are you going anywhere else?
Yeah, this quarterback position is interesting to me here. We've got Mahomes with the big boy team total there at 32 points. His props are pretty good. He's basically an even money plus 120 to throw over 2.5 touchdowns is a prop there. So I think Mahomes is interesting up there. But like AP, I really like this Philly passing attack. I like the Philly offense as a whole this week. Hurts has 28.5 implied team total. He's been like right at 33.5 points over his last 3 games, 70 plus rush yards in three of his last 4 games as well. I think the Eagles have one of the best, easiest running back / wide receiver matchups this weekend. So I really like the Philly offense to keep it rolling this week. So I'm going to be heavy on Hurts this week. You come down a little bit to Justin Herbert there. He's going to be probably right around 15%, same as Hurts. They have a pretty good team total there as well at 25 points. He's got the highest passing yards prop on the slate at 303. He's a huge favorite to throw 2 touchdowns. His prop for touchdowns is set at 1.5 minus 185. So he really gets that nut matchup against this Tennessee defense that we've targeted quite often this season. So I really like Herbert this week too. He's got all his weapons finally healthy back. So definitely going to be looking to stack Herbert. I will run some Herbert doubles there with Allen and Mike Williams, maybe even mix in some Everett there too. You got Joe Burrow at 7K. He's always viable. I don't know if I'm going to get to him though. I might just play some one-offs of his pass catchers there. But I really do like Trevor Lawrence this week. I was on him some last week. I've been actually playing him for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So a lot of people I think are going to go to Dak there at 6.2, and then you get Trevor Lawrence there at 6K flat. I think he's going to be like right around 5% or less. Pretty good team total there for them at 22 points. His props is 249 versus passing yards, and over 1.5 touchdowns is even money there. And if he has time to throw, I think he can really cook this secondary here. And since week 9, Trevor has the second highest passing grade, 10 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, 84% adjusted completion percentage, and he's been the 3rd fastest in average time to throw the ball at 2.4 seconds, which is going to be huge against this pass rush, I think. So I really like Trevor Lawrence as a mid-tier QB this week. And moving down the slate, I think you could play either Carr or Mac Jones there. I would lean Carr. I think that game has a chance to kind of shoot out a little bit, though, inside the dome there. Mac Jones finally gets some really good conditions to throw the ball in. Carr has Adams and Jacobs, and I think Waller's going to be back this week too, and Renfro's going to be back. So Carr should have all his pass catchers back this week. So I think that's an interesting way to go if you want to slide all the way down and kind of punt the position off there.
Yeah, if you think that Trevor Lawrence is going to have to get the ball out of his hands quickly, maybe a little bit interesting for Travis Etienne Jr. We'll talk about that when we get to running back. But AP, I'll flip it over to you just to finish out on quarterback here. We talked about the guys up top. It does kind of feel like a week where I'm nervous about the fate of Mahomes. It feels like a Mahomes to Kelsey week could just absolutely explode against this Texans defense. They do have all the running backs. They do have a lot of weapons, but it's been a little while since we've seen a true upside game from Travis Kelce. But some of these other quarterbacks at the lower end of the range, any one of these guys interest you? You mentioned Dak, but any interest in Zach Wilson or Mac Jones or Tom Brady or anybody else that's not going to be particularly popular?
Yeah, I do think Zach Wilson is kind of interesting. Pair him Wilson to Wilson. I know, like the Discord earlier this morning, talking about how Zach Wilson is cheeks and everything. Yeah, I get it. The Lions, though, like we were talking before the show, like Zonovan Knight is going to be chalk, and I don't get it. Lions have actually been decent against RB1s, worse against pass catching running backs, and not good against opposing receivers. So I think Zach Wilson, he should be highly motivated here. I mean, he lost his job. He has the opportunity to prove something against a favorable defense. Wilson to Wilson, you got more in there too. Like, yeah, I think it's a good spot. I don't love the game. I think it's going to play kind of ugly. But what I'm saying is if I had to punt, I would go there. Now, I wish we had, now this is like a true Millie Maker type of situation. And we might not even just be able to go there, but I wish I could play one of these Texans quarterbacks against Kansas City. I mean, opposing like Kansas City, it's a game script thing. It's like Kansas City has been so efficient. And, it allows for more opportunities for these opposing teams, these opposing quarterbacks. We all saw what the Broncos did last week when Kansas City got up pretty big. So, like, I don't think it's out of the question if we knew who the quarterback was going to be, if they weren't in a timeshare, and that's Davis Mills and I think Jeff Driscoll. So, tough situation. But, I mean, when you look at what opposing quarterbacks have done against this defense, that I'm a little concerned about Kansas City, JT. Like, they should be crushing these teams, these bad teams in these spots, and they're just not. They're kind of just letting them, they're letting these games stay close. So definitely concerned. And I think the Texans keep it close here too. I actually like the Texans side as a bet. And so, it brings me back to Mahomes. Maybe you go Mahomes and then you go all the cheap pieces from the Texans. I think that's very viable too. So game is very interesting, but to kind of sum up the cheap quarterbacks, if I had to punt, probably would be Zach Wilson. But, man, I'm going to be spinning up today. I like the high-priced quarterbacks, and that's where I'm going to live.
Fair enough, Snyder. Any interest in these lower-priced quarterbacks on the slate?
Yeah, I think I could maybe jump on some Wilson there. I think that's interesting there, Wilson to Wilson. I like that combo. I was going to look at Wilson some at the wide receiver position later, so I think I could definitely stack him up there. It's either going to be that, or maybe I go to Derek Carr there. I know Derek Carr's been pretty bad a few times. He didn't even crack 5 points in his last game, but he has shown the upside at times to maybe get close to that like 25-point mark, which will be just fine for that price tag. So I think it's just that, but I think I may even lean a little bit more to Wilson there. I generally don't like to play Jared Goff though outside of the dome. So I mean, I don't think Wilson's going to be so motivated. I don't think he's going to need someone to, kind of push him along. I think they could come out and he's going to sling it. So I kind of like that call there, AP.
All right, we'll move on here to running back. 202 likes, not quite on pace. We need to pick that up. We've got close to 700 watching. We're looking to get to 800 today. We're going to have more people jump in as the morning goes on, and they're getting their hot biscuits, hopping in with Run Pure Sports. Snyder, I'll stick with you on the running back side. The three highest owned, and really it should be a fourth highest owned. You've got Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Josh Jacobs, and then I think Zonovan Knight for the Jets is going to be high owned, which is interesting because as we were talking about before we came on, Detroit has been pretty good against the run. Where they're bad is through the air. Not sure what the Jets are going to do, whether or not they'll put any faith in Wilson, which is the challenge about playing him as well. You going to stay with any of these popular running backs or move a little bit off of them?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be kind of off of the chalk here. Maybe I'll play Josh Jacobs. I've been playing him kind of frequently this year. 20-plus carries in his last 5 games, one with 33. So I think he's got the ability to catch the ball in the backfield, but that finger injury could possibly limit a little bit of his past game work. I'm kind of wondering. I'm just kind of going to gauge your guys' interest on that if you think that's going to bother him at all there. He's got a 102.5-yard rush and receiving yard prop, though, which is up there. It's one of the top ones. The top rush receiving prop on the week belongs to King Henry there. But he's only paid off his price tag usually when the Titans win. When the Titans win, he usually smashes. But when Titans lose, Henry is usually a bust candidate. They're highly susceptible to that. So I really like the dome game, though. I think he can exploit this defense. I think I'm going to definitely have some King Henry in my teams this week. But I'm going to be off of the chalk there with Zonovan Knight. I just don't really understand that. Like you guys were saying earlier, The next one comes down to Alvin Kamara, and I haven't really fully made up my mind there yet. I mean, he gets a really good matchup here. Interest was absolutely terrible for him, though, but we've seen that upside that he's posted. I think he had like 35 or 40 points earlier this year, so 6-8 is a very cheap price tag. I don't think he's been priced under 7K in quite a while, maybe since early this season, so really good price tag, really good matchup there, but I think I'm leaning towards just kind of pivoting to a guy a little lower owned or a little cheaper and lower owned than him that we'll probably get into here in a little bit. But as far as the chalk, I don't think I'm going to be too much on Kamara. I might have a little. I might just underproject him to see where I get on him. Jacobs I'll be on, and then that's about it. I'm not going to play Knight or Murray. It looks like Murray is going to be a kind of chalky too there at 5-1. I have another option in that range that I'm going to just play over them. I think that has just as good of upside.
Yeah, Latavius Murray, kind of the last man standing in Denver. You'll have a backup quarterback there. That kind of looks like a very ugly game that I'm not sure exactly how many pieces are going to pay off there. AP, the top line here, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, and Josh Jacobs. Kamara, of course. You've got Mark Ingram, who's going to be out. But that offense has been so unpredictable, bringing in Taysom Hill. So it's really a shared situation no matter what. Where are you looking at the running back position?
Yeah, the running back spot, I think, is one where I'm probably going to be getting different this week. I'll be on AP Island for sure is what I'm thinking, because like Zonovan Knight, he's in my pool right now because he's 5,300. Like, he's a value filler, but if he's going to be chalk, I would rather move off of that chalk just because, I think the game is ugly. Like, I do. And then Alvin Kamara, he's been terrible outside of one game. One game he was good. He's been terrible. He's going to be chalk. I get this situation. He should get more volume in this spot. The matchup is decent, but if he's going to be mega chalk, I would rather get different elsewhere. And then Josh Jacobs, the other guy who's projecting to be, pretty high owned, 20 to 25%. And a lot of that is just volume based. And I get it. Like, I don't think I would be concerned about the finger issue or anything. They give this dude all the work. And so it's more matchup. Like, I don't like that Raiders Patriots game that much. If I had to spin up, though, it would be Derrick Henry. I've been burned by Henry so many times, but again, another good spot. I do worry about the game script just getting away from the Titans here. We've seen it the last 2 weeks now. Henry did all of his work, all of his damage in the first half last week, and then he just faded away, absolutely faded away. I wouldn't call him a bust. I think he did enough to not kill you, but he didn't have that breakout game like we're accustomed to seeing in December. Could come here. I like him in Charger stacks. I'm not locking him, though. I've made that mistake, too, like when they played Philly. I was very, very high on Jalen Hurts stacks that week, but I had Derrick Henry locked into everything. He had like 4 DraftKings points. The script just got away from them. So you need Henry to strike early, and you need this game to be back and forth. But he should. I think their backup, their pass-catching running back, too, is out. Maybe he gets more of that third down work. I would love to see Henry get the ball in space. Just get him the ball, find ways to get him the ball in space and let him run downhill. Maybe they'll let him do that this week, but I think he's a good play. I have him in my Justin Herbert stacks. How I'm getting different. So this Chiefs-Texans game, I like both the running backs here. Dameon Pierce out, obviously. We have Darwe Ogunbale, I think his name is, out of Wisconsin. I think he smashes. You look at what running backs do, especially pass catching running backs against Kansas City. Just looking at a high level, opposing running backs against Kansas City. Last week, 27 DK points, 33 the week before that. Kansas City has allowed so many different like RB1, fantasy scoring running backs this season, and it's a game script thing. It's when these teams get behind. It's just pass it off, dunk it to the running back. And I think Darwe is absolutely going to smash today. I think he gets 7, 8, 9 targets. I think he's the lead guy, 4,700. I think he gets in the box too. So he's one of my favorite plays. And then on the other side of this game, and my one reason for having concerns about stacking up Mahomes is I think the Chiefs just hand it to Pacheco. He's been very good. We haven't seen a ceiling type performance from him, but it could be coming. The one worry is he's not getting much reception work out of the backfield. That's McKinnon, and that's the guy that they trust in that role. But I don't think there's another running back right now that runs harder than Pacheco. I mean, it's almost like funny watching him run out there. The dude is just like stomping his feet on the ground and just piling over people. So I think you're going to see a lot of Pacheco, and I think you can play Pacheco and Darway together in the same lineup. Like, I don't mind it at all. And that's what I'm talking about getting different. I'm not like I'm just throwing projections out the window. Building off game script, gut calls. I think Pacheco, I think Darway, both very good plays in that game. I also like, all right, so we talked about the Cowboys-Jags. I love this game. I think this game, it could absolutely nuke this slate. I think Tony Pollard, 7,100. I don't think a lot of people are going to pay that price tag. I love Tony Pollard today. I don't think I can get to Zeke, but I definitely can get to Pollard. And yeah, I'm concerned. They love to give Zeke the ball. We saw it last week in that crunch time situation right at the end there. They gave it to Zeke. I'm going to bet on talent here. Pollard's, he's crushed in so many different games. So I think he's a very interesting play. My other favorite one that I actually skipped over, but Miles Sanders. So I talked about Jalen Hurts. Absolutely love Jalen Hurts today. I actually like pairing him with Miles Sanders. I don't care. I think they're going to run all over the Bears. I think we've seen this Eagles team do it multiple times this season, where both Hurts and Sanders have correlated very well in these scripts where they just blow a team out. I see that happening today. Miles Sanders, 6,500, is going to be one of my higher-owned running backs on the slate.
Yeah, and I think perhaps the reason why you see guys like Kamara and Latavius Murray and Jacobs and Henry being popular at the running back position is because of the fact that there are so many timeshares in the NFL right now. Carolina, great matchup. Timeshare. Kansas City, great matchup. Kind of a timeshare with McKinnon getting all the work last week. Snyder, we'll bring it back to you. You've got Miles Sanders, who's pretty much the lead guy. Dallas is a timeshare. Now the prices are elevated, although Pollard, obviously more explosive. The Jets, timeshare. Last week, the snap count, 37-35. Michael Carter over Zonovan Knight. Michael Carter is the pass-catching back. He's 4,900 and perhaps the best matchup for opposing pass-catching backs. We didn't talk about Austin Eckler, who is pretty much the guy in Los Angeles. He's 8,500 here. And you mentioned you had a sneaky guy. Where are you looking at outside of the popular plays?
Yeah, right. I'm in complete lockstep with AP there on Miles Sanders. I'll hit on that first. I kind of talked him up last week on the Millie Show. I love going right back to him. I was high on him in that showdown slate a couple games ago against that bad Packers rush defense. Sanders is the guy I'm going to be right back on. He's giving me pretty low ownership too. I'm seeing him right around 10 to 13% ownership, which is just absolutely crazy, I think. But I'm going to be right back on him yet again. He's hit 30 plus points in 2 of his last 3. He's found the end zone 5 times in those 3 games. And this is the biggest mismatch on board with the Philly O-line versus Chicago defense. So love the game script here. Big favorites here. He's got good props. So I'm going to be heavy on Miles Sanders there. And Tony Pollard is another low-owned guy there. AP mentioned. I really like that too. Jacksonville has surrendered 25 plus points to the RB position in 8 games this year. 28 and 36 in the last 2 weeks as well. The volume can be a little bit of concern here, but I really like Pollard here in tournaments, so I'm going to be on him a little bit as well. And then I'm going to go down to a guy at 4.9K, Chuba Hubbard. He only played 23 snaps last week, but he touched the ball on 17 of those snaps, 14 for 74 and 1, and he had 3 for 25 in the passing game. I think Hubbard's a guy that you can sprinkle in if you're looking to really save money there in the low under 5K range. And then I like that Michael Carter call that you had there at JT. I'm going to sprinkle him in some as well. And then I think that's about it for me here. I about missed on Ricard White. I kind of like Ricard White here too. I think he has just as much upside as those popular guys in that range, Knight, Murray. So I really like some Ricard White here. He's got a pretty good props, 68.5 rush receiving yards for him. He's a guy that can find the end zone. So I'm going to be over the field on Ricard White there too. The last 4 games, he's been double-digit points, had 20 points in one of those games. So I think Ricard White is a good play for tournaments as well.
Let me get your thoughts on one more guy here before we move on to the wide receiver position. It looks like, as of right now, Ramondre Stevenson is expected to play against Las Vegas, 7K, Just a great matchup here. You know they don't want Mac Jones throwing the ball 40 times. Thoughts on Ramondre?
Yeah, I think he's in play if you want to go there. I think I would rather go with Pollard. I think Pollard's got more upside, but Stevenson's guy that he hasn't really shown a ceiling this year, but he's been consistently, right in that 15 to 20 point range. So I think he's like a good kind of consistent guy if you want to get your like 15 to 20 points. I kind of worry about his ceiling though, especially coming off the injury, but I fully get the play if you want to go there.
Fair enough. We will move on to the wide receiver position, but first, two members last week winning the Millie Maker, the big Millie Maker, the 44-44 and the $20. Deepwater and Gordon Jonathan the week before that. Alicia Hunt, she won the $20 Millie Maker. I think only 3 lineups is what she played. Just amazing stuff. If you're not a member already, ho 25% off of your first month's membership, and you get all of the content, all the premium content, as well as these shows. You get Spread, our guy Spread Astaire, who doesn't love spread. He does Talking Touchdowns every week, a betting show, as well as covering a little bit of DFS. He also does a daily NBA rundown that is absolutely can't miss. AP, I know you've been jumping on there a bunch with him. Titletown, Mangone, hitting Spread Astaire's NBA rundown. Go ahead, guys, hit the like button. It's a really disgusting ratio right now. Almost
Hurtful.
1,000 watching, only 293 likes. You know the deal. The Wood Show guys may not come on unless we have 800 likes. So go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And once again, go ahead and hop on over to RunPureSports.com. AP at wide receiver. It looks like the popular plays here. Chris Moore on Houston, volume-based play, went off last week against the Cowboys. You've got Keenan Allen, you've got Jamar Chase, and then I think Garrett Wilson from the Jets is going to sneak in there. Where are you looking at the wide receiver position?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Texans. It's like it's an opportunity thing. They're going to have the opportunity and they're cheap. Chris Moore, 4,200. I think he's fine, especially like your cash game filler type. I think in tournaments, though, like guys like Amari Rodgers, like getting different with Dare. Rex Burkhead was mentioned in chat. I get it with Rex. I'll have a little bit, but I feel more confident in Dare than him. Rex Burkhead, Nebraska guy. He's old, man. Isn't he like 34 or something? I mean, he's getting up there.
So people are mentioning him, and here's the thing, right? Especially if you've been playing daily fantasy sports for years. You think about Rex Burkhead, those big spike games with the Patriots when nobody played him. He also had a spike game last year. Same situation, great matchup. It was against the Chargers. All the other running backs were hurt, and he went off. I think he had 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing. Now, he's a year older. Texans are a different team. They're a different coach. It's no lock that Burkhead's going to get the work. It's no lock that this other guy is going to get the work here. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, so I just think I'm not fading Chris Moore. I think he's fine. He's a great value based off projected target share. I think there's just other ways to get different. The other thing, too, and why I'm not going to fade that chalk, Kansas City's been sneaky good against opposing tight ends, too. I think outside of like 1, maybe 2 games, they've absolutely shut down tight ends. So I think the receivers get the volume here. I love Amari Rodgers, super cheap, nice pivot off of Chris Moore, but I'm definitely going to be playing some chalk at the receiver. So while I'm getting different at running back, I'm eating some chalk here. Keenan Allen, how is he not the best play on the slate from a pure floor ceiling basis? I mean, if he got in the box last week, he's putting up 30-some DK points, and I think he's even higher owned this week than what we're going to see. Since he didn't, I think he didn't get in the box, I don't think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I also think he fell just short of 100 yards. If he gets that bonus and falls in the box, he's putting up a big number. So I think we could see that this week. So I'm eating that chalk. And then Jamar Chase, I love the spot for him too. CeeDee Lamb. I mean, give me all the chalk at receiver, and I'm fine with that. I'm going to get different. I'm going to be very contrarian at the running back position. But receiver this week, I do think seems a little bit easier. It's Keenan Allen. I think when you think about Justin Herbert's stacks, I see no reason why you can't, like, if you love this game and you want to overstack it, especially in like smaller entry type of stuff, I think it's definitely fine too. But going Herbert to Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, run it back with Derrick Henry. And then what you do is take these value pieces, Amari Rodgers, Dare, or Chris Moore from the Texans, just because I think the opportunity is going to be so great for them. You can make it work if you do that, if you run that script. So I'll have a few scripts pretty similar to that. The other thing too is Devontae Adams, I think is really interesting. 9K that price tag has to cap his ownership just a little bit. We know Bill Belichick likes to take away a certain piece. Maybe it's Jacobs, maybe it's Adams, who knows? But from a target tree perspective, we know that the Raiders want to give the ball to Jacobs and they want to get the ball to Devontae Adams. So I think Adams in tournaments is a phenomenal play too. And then Cowboys, that game, CeeDee Lamb, I think is in a great spot. I think Michael Gallup too. You can go there. I like that game. And then I'm with Snyder too. I think the Jaguars surprised the Cowboys this week and they push them. And I think we see some back and forth action. I might have to get a couple shares of Trevor Lawrence. I have him as a fade right now, but I like Christian Kirk. I like Zay Jones. Their price tags are nice. 6,600. We've seen Kirk put up some big scores. He's going to be very low owned. People respect this Cowboys defense, but we saw the Texans move the ball on them last week. So you can't rule out the Jaguars. I don't think so on this slate. I need you guys to talk to me though about like Drake London, somebody like Jacoby Myers, Drake London. I'm not as confident on those type of guys. Chris Olave, I think is fine. I think I would rather, speaking of another chalk play, Garrett Wilson, 6K. I think he's more interesting than some of those guys. Like if I'm going between Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, I definitely lean Garrett Wilson right now, but really curious to see what you guys have to say about the wide receiver position.
Snyder, before we bring it over to you, I don't know that we have the same type of stats as we do for Nick Saban going against his old assistants, but Bill Belichick against Josh McDaniels, I'm just going to fade the Raiders. McDaniels has shown me nothing, absolutely nothing this year in terms of his ability to game plan. Now he goes against the master, the teacher, the tutor, whatever you want to call him. It's a tough spot there, especially with the prices elevated. I'm very, very happy that the prices on both Adams and Jacobs are elevated to the point where I really only have to worry if one of these guys gets like 40. And it's just hard to see against this Patriots defense, kind of a sneaky defense, actually. We'll get into that later. Snyder, we talked about the guys who are projected to be popular at the wide receiver position. If we look at the prop market likes Amon-Ra St. Brown. They like CeeDee Lamb. They do like Keenan Allen, Zay Jones, DJ Moore. DJ Moore against the Steelers defense that has given up a ton of points to opposing wide receiver ones. And then DeAndre Hopkins, of course, you've got the backup Colt McCoy. But look, McCoy looked like he was able to get the ball to the receivers better than Kyler Murray was at times. So where are you looking at the receiver position here this week?
Yeah, I think I'm going to kind of be off of those guys. So I have St. Brown, Hopkins, Lamb, and DJ Moore all kind of listed as cross-offs for me at the moment here. I don't typically like to play golf outside of the dome, so that kind of takes down St. Brown for me. Hopkins draws a tough matchup here at Mile High. That's going to take him out of consideration for me. And then I just have worries about the Cowboys just loving to pound the rock there and kind of limiting Lamb's upside. So that's kind of going to take him out of play for me as well. So I'm kind of going to be off of those guys. I do like going up at a few of these guys priced higher. I do like Jamar Chase here this week. Absolutely elite upside here. I think he's got more upside this week than Adams. I'm kind of going to be in lockstep with you there with the Adams. I don't think I'm going to be as high on him. I'm going to underproject him just a little bit and see where he ends up. But according to PFF, Chase has one of the best matchups here against the Bucs secondary, 97.1 matchup advantage here. He looks like he's going to be the highest owned spend up here this week, but came back 15 targets last week, 10 for 119 and 1. I really like him this week. And AJ Brown's another guy that continually we see him like 5% or so. The price tag is up there, but he's got a great matchup here against this defense here. I think that's going to keep his ownership down with the price tag up there. Solid value on this slate can help you spend up for some of these high higher stacks here. Hurts Brown. I do like Devonta Smith there too. He's a cheaper option to Brown here. 8+ targets in 5 straight games for Devonta Smith's gonna have him in play for me. And then we kind of come down here to the Chargers pass catchers here. You got Keenan Allen at 6.8, and then you got Big Mike Williams at 6.3. They both have the nut matchup here. I think I'm going to have a little Allen in doubles, but I really like Mike Williams more than that. 500 cheaper. It looks like he's going to be about half the ownership there, right around 10%. And he's scored 20+ points in 5 of the 8 games he's been healthy this year, 100 yards or more in half his games this season. And he walks into his best matchup of the year. So I'm going to be high on Big Mike Williams. He's going to be one of my highest exposed receivers this weekend. I like Christian Kirk right there too. He's a good pair with T-Law. A lot of people are going to go to the Zay Jones side there because he's a lot cheaper there, 1,700 cheaper. He had 10 targets last week. He's actually averaging 10 targets over his last 4 games, so he's a solid value there. I think he'll be, probably right around 15% ownership-wise. I really like the Wilson side there, the Wilson stack there, 6K. I do kind of worry a little bit about he's been playing really well with Mike White in the center. Now he gets that Wilson there, but I think Wilson's going to be kind of motivated like AP had talked about earlier. So good matchup against this Lions secondary. So I think I'll have him in there some. And then it comes down to the Chiefs passing attack. It's kind of cluttered there. It looks like they're going to have Kadarius Toney and Mecole Hardman back this week. It's going to be kind of difficult to judge where the targets go, but I'm still going to have some interest in Juju here. 11 targets last week. It looked like him and Mahomes were back on the same page. They had that stretch earlier this year where I think Juju had like 20 to 25 points in like 3 straight games. So I think Juju is interesting if I'm looking to pair up a receiver with Mahomes this week. Kind of dipping down into this sub 5K range there. Past the Zay Jones, who I just mentioned, but you got Chris Moore there, 4.2. He's going to be like one of the most popular plays. I think he's going to be actually the first click for many cash game players this week. Houston's very thin at the receiver, leaving just Moore, Dorsett, Rodgers there. Moore has been a solid punt option at times this year. He's coming off his best game, probably of his career, maybe. 10 passes for 124 yards. So I'm going to have some Chris Moore in my builds this week. I don't mind going to Dorsett. I had a little bit of Dorsett last week too. I think he's going to be unowned here. I think he's got some solid upside for the cheap price tag. Amari Rodgers is there as well. And then you kind of round out the last chalk spot here that many people are going to go to. It looks like Nelson Aguilar is going to be like right around 20% possibly today. He's going to be like the main guy for the Pats here. It looks like Myers is going to be out yet again. 10 targets last game against Arizona. He had 8 targets versus Minnesota a couple games back, and then he put up that 6 for 110.
Myers is in.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to change some things, and I think his ownership will drop. But I still like some Aguilar here. He had 6 for 110 and 1 against Pittsburgh earlier this year, so I think that's fine there too. So that I think I might have more interest in Nelson Aguilar than if Myers is going to be out. That should lower his ownership. I don't think he'll be near that 20% mark then, if that's for sure.
3,400 for Nelson Aguilar if you can get aligned with that Patriots offense there. And a very good matchup. Guys, 398 likes, almost 1,200 watching.
So,
you need to get... Yes.
Quick comment. Hit the damn like. Let's go. We got like
fastest
so many
500
people at the we got so many people at the live final. 2.5 million up top. Whew. I mean, man, hit the like. Or take a hike, as Tambo says. Shout out Tambo. I think if you going back to stack, thinking about this KC game, I think we see points. Obviously, I think we see points. But if you play Mahomes, and I do think I'm going to get some shares. I like Jalen Hurts. I talked all about that. But if you play him, here's how you do it. Like with Kadarius Toney back, I think they're going to handle him with kid gloves. But I could see him get in the box. Like I could see him maybe 20, 25% of snaps. But when he's in there, he's getting the targets. I don't think he has the upside, though, to play him. I think what you do is Mahomes to Kelsey, like JT Hayes said, but then you just you load up on the Texans side, because for Mahomes to hit that ceiling, you need a script kind of like last week where the Texans are responding. And this I don't trust this defense. They just get lazy. And so, man, you take all the value pieces and you overstack it from the Texans side with Mahomes and Kelsey. Could be a printer, JT. I kind of like it.
One thing I will say here, right? I mean, we're talking about the Houston Texans. We're talking about Lovie Smith. We're talking about their best player. Their best player is injured, right? And we're talking about a guy who, out of nowhere, is like playing two quarterbacks on different drives, on the same drive. And when you look at Chris Moore, the popularity makes sense to me. 11 targets last week. And the other thing here, though, and this is more to the point, this is a 10-game slate. This is a 10-game slate with some very clear wide receiver one options that are underpriced, some very clear wide receiver options that are perhaps you have to be a little bit flexible to get to. Maybe you have to pay down at running back. Maybe you've got to pay down at defense, which we'll get to. So I think in Millie Maker, to your point earlier, you mentioned Millie Maker lineups, maybe overstacking this game and hoping that this kind of shoots out. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think going overweight on any of these Houston Texans receivers and really any of the Chiefs receivers outside of Kelce is just such a tremendous risk on a slate this size. But if you do that in a Millie Maker lineup or like five of them, I mean, I think that's a potential to certainly hit where you've got these other, because they do allow you to put the higher priced options, right? You can go, even if you were going to go to those receivers, you could go to a Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and start stacking up the other pieces of this game, which I think is
JT. You know why we should also like these two guys, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts? They're neck and neck MVP in the MVP race right now too. So plenty of motivation, in my opinion.
And great matchups, right? You can talk all you want about Herbert's matchup, but I mean, Mahomes, Hurts, these guys have been so consistent. Like I don't think, even if Mahomes has a down game, I don't think he hurts you from cashing, right? Maybe he's not the point per dollar best on this slate. But anyway, 460. All right, we're picking up the likes. We're getting to 800, and the Wood guys are going to come on. We'll move on to tight end here. Tight end, three most popular guys. Coincidentally, we were just talking about him. Travis Kelce, Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz, by the way, far and away, the top matchup in terms of defense versus opposition, at least the last month or so in Jacksonville. And then I'm seeing Greg Dulcich. I think it's going to be Chig Okongwu from Tennessee, who's actually potentially higher owned than both of these guys. AP, will stick with you. What are you looking at the tight end position? Paying up for Kelce, looking at some of these other guys, Dallas Goedert potentially returning today. What are you looking at?
Yeah, since I am getting different at running back and I'm going to have a lot of these value running backs, it makes it pretty easy to get up to Kelce. So he's obviously going to be my favorite tight end. And look, I would say the last 2 weeks from Kelce were bust worthy. I can't see him busting 3 weeks in a row. So good matchup, tight ends against this Texans team. I think Kelce could smash. We've seen these games where he just puts up a crazy ceiling type performance where Mahomes just locks in on him. And we know those two guys, they want records. Mahomes is going to look Kelce's way. You also have Tony. You have pieces from KC back where this Texans defense, they're going to they can't just focus in on Travis Kelce anymore, especially with Tony back. So I think Kelce, the clear spend up if you can get him. I think we can go back to Chig. I think all of RPS was on him last week. Had a phenomenal game. He's 3-1. Going to be higher on this week for sure. From a flow chart perspective, I actually like Dalton Schultz against the Jags. Projection's nice. His price is a little high for my liking, but in Dak Prescott stacks, I could see playing a Dak to CD or Gallup, and then Schultz. I could even see you going Dak, Gallup, Schultz, fading CD in tournaments, and then running it back with a Christian Kirk. You got your QB plus wide receiver 2 plus tight end, run it back with the opposing wide receiver 1. I like that as a contrarian stack in that game. Tight end position for me is going to be very concentrated. It's Travis Kelce, Chig, Dalton Schultz, and then I'm looking at Gerald Everett, but it does. It feels like a chase from a position standpoint. We saw Evan Ingram just go absolutely nuclear last week against this Titans team. You got to think that the Titans saw that in film all week, and it's going to be something that they correct. I can't see them wanting Gerald Everett to do that against them, what Evan Ingram did last week. So that's why I'm higher on Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. But I do have Gerald Everett in my pool. So yeah, I'm going to keep things pretty tight at the tight end position.
All right. And someone in chat saying there was some news. Dallas Goedert not activated, so he is not back.
Man.
Snyder will bring it over to you at the tight end position. Travis Kelce, Dalton Schultz, Dulcich with Brett Rippon as his quarterback, and then Chigakongwu.
Yeah, like usual, we've got a huge advantage here. If you can find the money to get up to Kelce here, he's priced up with the top receivers on this slate as well. But I mean, Kelce actually leads all receivers and tight ends in yards after catch this season with 526 yards. Huge advantage. If you can get up there, I think he's going to be around 20%, which isn't bad though. So I'm going to be looking to try and find my way up to Kelce as much as possible here. Just such a big advantage over the rest of these guys in this advantage. He's the only guy I think that has the ability to get 35 plus on this game, when the rest of these guys are usually trying their hardest to get, around 15 points or so. So if I can fit it, I'm going to try and get up there. Some other guys here, Pat Freiermuth, he's been fairly consistent at getting like 10 points or so this year. I think he's fine for Termas. He'll be a guy I add to the player pool. I really do like that Dalton Schultz option there too. 4.4K. He's going to see a little bit of ownership, maybe around like 12 to 15% or something like that, I think. So I think he's interesting there. Since Dak's return, he's been right around 5 to 7 targets a game with the upside of 10. We saw 10 targets last week, 13 plus points in 4 of his last 6 games, and gets that great spot here. So I really like some Dalton Schultz. He'll be like one of the main guys I look to run back my Jaguar stacks with. Will be Schultz there at 4-4. And then you got Evan Ingram there. He broke the slate last week, 11 passes, 162 yards and 2 touchdowns for that monster 42-point DK score there. He had 5 for 30 in the score the week before too, and I don't think he's going to be owned this week either. I'm seeing his ownership, like right around 10%. So I think he's another guy I'm going to be looking to stack up with Lawrence there as well. I think it's interesting to even run like an Ingram Schultz. I don't know. I haven't really looked at roster builds too much to see if you can, if it's a slate where you can put 2 tight ends on a slate. But if I need that extra savings there, I think pairing those 2 tight ends up is kind of interesting in those type of game stacks there. So I'll be looking at that. Dulcich and Chig, they're going to be the 2 kind of the cash guys that people like to look to fill in for their cheap guys there at tight end. I think Chig would be the way I would go more so there. He's $500 cheaper. Traded us well last week, so I think that's the option there. I'll be looking to go and trying to find if there's any more like dust balls down here, but I really don't see much that I like down there. I mean, you could always like throw in like a Noah Gray or something if you wanted 2.6K. He's a guy that could find the box, but I really don't see him scoring much more than like 10 to 12 points if he does find the box. So probably won't get there. I think that's about it for me there. Unless I go to like a Hunter Henry at 3.3. I was on him in the showdown. He only caught 3 passes for 70 yards, but he's another guy that with that price tag is cheap. He's got the upside to score like 15 points on this slate, I think. So that's another option I'll look to, pair up with Mac Jones if I got there or something there. But kind of just heavy on Kelce as much as possible. And then Schultz would be my next favorite, and then followed by Evan Ingram.
Yeah, so interesting things going on in chat. We've got Turbo Duran, who is, I don't even know what he's saying. I think he's still awake from last night. And then Passion for Pilates. All right, everyone has their thing. Passion for Pilates. Tons of talk about Detroit being bad against the pass. They really haven't been the past 4 or 5 weeks. Really? Not bad against the pass? 425 passing yards last week for Kirk Cousins against the Lions? That's good. That's good. Passion for Pilates. Let's hit the like button. We are 1226, 520 likes. Need to get that number up to 800. For me, in terms of tight end, talked about Kelce, talked about Dalton Schultz. I'll give you one against that vaunted, difficult pass defense of the Lions. Tyler Conklin at 3,100 is in play for me as well. Darren Waller. People talk about Darren Waller. He was activated to come back. They opened the practice window. I don't think he's practiced though, so I don't believe that he's going to be active today. And not all that interested there. AP, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him, Turbo. If Baker Mayfield comes back, and has a game-winning drive against my team, yeah, I would be a little upset too. So, thoughts are with you, my friend. Got to bounce back from that, man.
Yeah, very interesting. Listen, I mean,
the Raiders, man.
We got some Lions fans in here too, because you've got Jared Goff outdoors. That has been a recipe for disaster. I think the only decent showing this season he's had outdoors earlier in the season in Chicago. Absolutely got wiped in New England. And we'll talk about that because we are rolling into defense here. Need to get up to that 800 number. 539 right now. AP popular defense is Denver for good reason, with a backup in Arizona at home. The Denver defense as a whole has been good, and they're cheap on DraftKings 2,700. Carolina against Mitch Trubisky, who's going to be starting for the Steelers. All right, that's a fine matchup. Arizona, who's been terrible, against the Denver Broncos and Brett Rippon. Okay, I can understand that. Two other defenses that I think are interesting to me, just talked about Jared Goff on the road, the Jets in the low threes on DraftKings, and then New England is 2,800 and just coming off a 20-point performance against Arizona. Where are you looking at defense?
Yeah, so I think all right, so I'm going to be off. So Denver defense, that's going to be a big fade of mine. They're projecting to be very, very heavily owned. And they're eliminated last week. Their defense has been carrying them all season long. I don't know. I kind of see Denver giving up here in this spot. What reason does that defense, who has many elite pieces to it, what reason do they have to be motivated outside of just saving some face? I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm fine with fading that chalk. I think the Cardinals could come in with more of a less aggressive game plan as well, kind of feed Connor and everything, less opportunities, for turnovers. So obviously, I don't want to talk anyone off of Denver defense. They're obviously a very good defense. I'm just explaining why I'm going to move off. I think it's we're starting to enter the point of the season where motivational factors enter in. When these teams get eliminated, they act a little bit different. I think they're highly motivated last week because Mahomes owns them. He's like 12-0 against the Denver Broncos. They can't beat them. And it's crazy. I know the feeling too, because Mahomes is 0-3 against Joe Burrow. I know the feeling. But yeah, I'm going to be off of them. I actually like the Cardinals defense a little bit. I think they're on the other side of this game. I think they're fine. The Panthers defense though is one of my favorite, 3,300 against Pittsburgh. They should be plenty motivated. They're somehow could make the playoffs. I think they're still kind of live. That whole division is just absolute disaster. But I have a ton of interest in them. And this is crazy, but I actually like the Texans defense, a flat 2K. They open up a ton. I don't even mind. I could play Mahomes and I could play that defense. We saw Mahomes throw 3 picks last week. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities if the Chiefs here, get a big lead and Mahomes makes a few mistakes. We've seen it happen often this season. So a flat 2K opens up a ton, allows you to spend up in many different areas. So I don't even mind them. I think Philly is also another fine defense. But man, defense is always tough. I hate the position, as we all know that. But for me, Panthers, Texans, Philly, those are a few of the defenses I'm looking at right now.
It's an odd Sunday to see you taking so many pieces against the Chiefs.
This is all right. So why would the Texans be motivated? They're going against Patrick Mahomes. They're going against the Chiefs. They're going against one of the best teams in football. I think and it's a bunch of backups. I think they come out motivated. I think they punch the Chiefs in the face, and it starts with their defense. So do I think they're going to limit them? No, the Chiefs are going to score a ton of points. I'm banking on turnovers, banking on a few lucky things happen, and they're flat 2K. I don't see them absolutely killing me. So that's kind of why I like them.
The stone minimum price there, of course, does allow you to do a lot of different things. Snyder, will bring it over to you. The top 3 popular defenses: Denver, Carolina, and then Arizona. Any Texans for you? Any of these other defenses that are in intriguing spots? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, there's a few that definitely catch my eye here, but I'm going to go right with AP here. We've kind of been lockstep for most of the show, and I'm going to be right there with him on this defensive side. I'm going to fade this Denver's defense here. I can't believe they're going to be like 30% plus owned, maybe higher in some single entry stuff though. So I'm going to be off him. Who's to say that Colt McCoy isn't better than Kyler Murray either? So I think they're going to show up here. 22 plus points in 3 of the last 4 games. Denver's defense has surrendered. So I think there's something too. I think maybe Arizona pushes Connor more in this game too, kind of limiting maybe the turnovers and such there. So I'm going to be off of this Broncos defense there. My favorite defense of the slate is going to be the New York Jets. I mean, anytime I can get the Jets at home as a favorite and I can target this Jared Goff outdoors, give me that. The Jets have actually scored 7+ points in 9 of their last 10 games too. I think they're going to get pressure on Goff. I think this is just a smash spot, and they're going to be like 1% owned. So give me all the Jets that I can fit here. Pittsburgh's another defense I may look at here at 3.1K. 6 interceptions and 10 sacks in their last 5 games. So I think that's interesting there. You got TJ Watt on the rush end there, so I like them. I'm going to probably be off of the Panthers there. I'm going to probably be off. I may play some Cardinals, but I don't know if I'll get there. I'd rather just play the Jets or the Steelers there. So I'm going to be off of them. The Titans look like kind of a popular punt play there. I think the Chargers are going to nuke that passing defense, so I'm going to be off of the Titans there. For cheapies, maybe Atlanta. I could maybe go to Atlanta there at 2.5K. I think that's the cheap option I would look at. Or yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to try and keep my defenses pretty close knit, mainly just the Jets and the Steelers if I can get away with it.
Snyder, I got your defensive play. Jaguars. Outside of the Jets, Jets.
I can get there.
I'm always on board for the Jets defense, especially against Jared Goff. What about the Jaguars? Can I interest you guys in a little Jags defense? Some of those mistakes Dak Prescott made last week were insane. Like, ooh, man. The 2,400. So
yeah, I can fully get on board with that. We've seen Dak make some bonehead mistakes and such. It wouldn't surprise me if he throws like a pick 6 or something here. Maybe they get a fumble or something. Yeah, I think 2,400 is definitely in play for them.
My favorite video, though, is that Jets one. We're all dancing around the field, you know. I'm definitely on board. I just added Jets.
Yeah, the Jets are going to smash.
So. We do have fair warning. We do have some people in Discord who haven't watched Jared Goff play football outdoors, and they believe that he's going to be fine. So they're completely off of the Jets defense, who, as Snyder points out, has been very, very good. Another defense that's interesting, Snyder. You want the Steelers defense over Carolina. Carolina's defense, both at home and on the road, scoring between 7 and above 10 points, I think 4 or 5 of the last 6 weeks. And you've got Mitch Trubisky starting at quarterback, who,
true.
He likes to throw the ball to the other team. So I like the Jets defense. I like the Carolina defense. We got a couple of minutes here, so let's go. I'm going to give you guys, and you guys have to pick one, cheap stacks. These are the cheap stacks on the day. That means your quarterback with a couple of pass catchers is going to be right around 10 to 12K. Pick one. Snyder, we'll start with you. Dallas, the Jets, the Patriots, or the Bucks?
I can't go to my guy Trevor Lawrence and Zay Jones for 10K.
I mean, you could, but that wasn't one of the choices. So.
I know. Let me go Dallas, the Jets, and I'll go with Zach Wilson. I'll go the Wilson connection there then.
All right. AP, Dallas, the Jets, New England, or the Bucks?
Yeah, I would go the Zach Wilson route. You're talking cheap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Bucks, I'm never playing. I'm never playing Tom Brady. So yeah, it has to be Dak or Zach Wilson would be my route. Zach Wilson has a true punt, 5.1K. So there you go.
Exactly. And the problem, for me at least, the problem, as cheap as the Buccaneers are, is you've got Todd Bowles calling plays. And
I would love to go Davis Mills just to stay on my narrative, but I can't get there. I might get bullied into playing it all, just in one. I love the bullied plays. They're undefeated, JTAs. They're undefeated.
Incredible. All right, guys. One more push, hit the like button. If you're not already a member at Run Pure Sports, go ahead and head on over. Ho, 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 25. It's the holiday season. It's MILF season. So ho, 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 25. 25% off your first month's payment. Does not include SaberSim, but it includes everything else, including the core plays, the player pools, Big T, JSU, AP, DC. I'll even throw them in there sometime. My guy DC, he's going to be on the Morning Wood Show. Excited to see him and think about what his plays are. I'm sad he's not here, so we could have bet one more time.
Hey, JTAs, are we going to lose two of our coordinators to MILF Manor? Is that the show? Like MILF Island? We Chris Randone, C-Dome, and then we got
Kurt, a little bit
Kurt
upset.
Jones. We might lose them both to the show.
Yeah, C-Dome says no, but I think Kurt was upset that he missed that casting call. So we'll see. We'll see. All right.
What's your guys' two top, or just your top raw points play of the day? Who do you think's going to score the most points on this slate?
Snyder, do you never watch the show? We get into our plays of the day right now.
I didn't know if you guys went lower owned on those plays, though.
Points play. Give him a raw points play.
Who scores the most?
What you mean, my play of the day, or just like most points?
Yeah, no, just who do you think scores the most points on this slate? No price.
I mean, Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes. I don't know.
I like it.
Yeah, probably that. I do kind of have interest in Kamara against this Falcons defense. I mean, people are talking about Olave. Olave's going to see AJ Terrell coverage. Jarvis Landry is cheap at 3,800. That's a cheap option there. But raw points, I think, it's going to be either Hurts or Mahomes at the top of the leaderboard when things are said and done. That brings us to the plays of the day. Snyder, as our guest, you get the pleasure and the privilege of going first here. Snyder's Soldier of the Day. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go right back to my guy in that Philadelphia offense there. I'm going to go with Miles Sanders, 6.5K. I think he's going to be like 10% or less on this slate. I was on him last week. I've been on him quite often here lately. 30-plus points in 2 of his last 3 games. He found the end zone 5 times in those 3 games. So I think Sanders finds the end zone once again here in this huge mismatch with the Philly offensive line versus that Chicago D-line. Good favorites, good game script. I like it.
All right. Play of the day is Miles Sanders for Snyder. AP, it's time for the gentleman's play of the day.
My gentleman's call of the day. This guy is going to be in the Millie Maker winning lineup. That is Dare Ogunbawe, I believe is how you say his name. Straight out of Wisconsin, a Badger, pass-catching machine. I think he gets it done at 4,700 over Rex Burkhead.
Odare Abungawale.
Something like that. We'll call him Ogun. There you go.
I'll close it out with the Eiffel Tower play of the day, and lots of different options here. A lot of very popular plays. You know that we stay away from the popular plays. And I'm going to go to a slot receiver against a team that is the worst in the NFL against the slot receiver. They've been absolutely torched, despite what Chad is telling us, that this team is somehow good against the pass. I don't really care about the quarterback because this quarterback and he have shown a better connection over the years than he has with any other receiver. You're going to pay $3,600 and be handsomely rewarded by Elijah Moore, who is the Eiffel Tower play of the day. That's it for us. We didn't get to the like quotient, so we'll see if the hardwood guys show up. Thank you to all of you who did smash that like button. To our members and those of you who are considering joining, using code HOHOHO25 for 25% off. For AP, for Snyder, I'm JT Hayes. For Simon, behind the scenes, Simon, please get us out of here.
What's up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. This last week was our biggest ever for our members, including 2 more millionaires. Let's get to the winners. NFL was our biggest cash cow last week, highlighted by some great calls across all of our content, including JT Hayes being all over the 49ers game script on Sunday. Subscribe to our YouTube page now so you don't miss calls like this.
A little bit like the San Francisco defense, 3,200. I think Todd Bowles is a terrible head coach. And I think they'll come in with a terrible game plan in this game. And I think they could get wiped. I think it means a lot of touches for Christian McCaffrey. So if you simply pivot from Henry to McCaffrey, that's a huge ownership discount.
In addition, our cores and player pools were littered with the highest scoring players on the slate. Our members were in sync with our content and the leaderboards proved it. Peter Pan 14 kicked things off, hitting for $117K in NFL Showdown. J-Dub 115 hit for $7K. Sammy Davis Jr. hit for $10K. OG member Brittany turned $75 into $11K. Jay Reed won 30K. CSP246 shipped 40K. Craven or Vad used Mangones and my weekly construction advice to hit for 40K. And K Phallic hit for 46K with a Russell Wilson lineup. We'll get to our biggest NFL winners in just a second, but first we need to shout out some big wins in our other sports. Our content continued to crush in the soccer streets with NYG Fan hitting for 10K. K Phallic's hot streak continued in the World Cup, shipping for 27K. In NBA, Long Dick Dong hit for 7K, while in MMA, Sevens Vox shipped a monster 51K. At RunPureSports, we take pride in featuring content contributors who actually make a living playing DFS. We put our money behind our picks on every slate, unlike many of our competitors. There's nothing better than when our members benefit from our content, and this week was the best week yet, producing 2 DraftKings Millie Maker winners to follow up last week's Millie Maker success. Shout out to Deepwater, who shipped $1 million in the 44-44. And huge shout out as well to Gordon Jonathan. He shipped the $20 Millionaire Maker with a monster score of 272 DK points, blowing away the competition. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Until next time, let's keep running pure.
And Mr. Crain is possibly frozen. All right, Morning Wood is here. Not sure what's going on.
Hey,
rough start.
Can you guys hear me?
There you go. Yes, we can.
Beautiful.
We're live, by the way.
We're live?
Yeah.
How long were you going to let me go?
I started talking. I don't know. You have some issues.
I was trying to get this thing working. My audio's not working. I don't have anything going on. My headphones. I plug my other thing in.
Yeah, we were just going to roll with it. And then
you guys hear me? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Oh, by the way, we're live. Thanks for the heads up. I appreciate it.
Your audio must have been off because literally Simon counted us down. He gave us every minute warning, and you must have had some finish. Just blame MediaCom. I mean, you have the built-in excuse when this happens. You can just blame MediaCom, and you're good to go.
How great that is? You know how great it is? I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to take shit for anybody. It's just like, it's MediaCom. It's my internet. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, so that's
Crain.
what we're rolling with.
I'm Crain. He's Hoop. We got DC here. DC, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm thinking maybe we should have, taken heed that you just sat there in silence for like 7 minutes pre-show and didn't say a damn word. And maybe you weren't quite ready to go. But we'll call the audible. We're good to go after the mishap. Certainly excited for week 15. Of course, filling in for Big T, who's out in New Orleans, right, along with Locks, Tambo, several other RunPureSports members trying to ship. What's up top? 1.5 million, 2 million?
I think it's 2.5 million, right?
2.5, yeah.
Yeah, crazy amount. And don't bet against those RPS guys in the big tournament today. So good luck to everybody playing in those guys, whether RPS or not. And hoping to pick some winners here on the show today.
How jealous are you guys? Like, I'm really jealous I'm not down there. Like, I'm having some serious, like, I didn't really go for any NFL Live finals this year, but I'm having some serious FOMO.
I'm still trying to figure out how I didn't get a seat the week I won the Millie, because I know I've played the small qualifier every week, and I thought about it. I was like, how the fuck did I not win a seat that week? Someone must have played like a heroic lineup in the qualifier. I mean, I didn't even look back, but
was there a big MME qualifier too?
I think they had that $5 all season long, $5 150 max, and I've played it every week when I'm 150, and I obviously 150 that week. Someone, because that lineup I had was close to like the stone cold nuts. Yeah, someone must have had. Yeah,
I see it behind your shoulder there. It looks like a lot of big scores. So someone must have put up a monster themselves.
Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense. But yeah. So good luck to everyone out there, though, for sure. Yeah.
So here's exciting. My question. Like, Hoop, I know the answer with you. Like, I know that you will not be sweating the World Cup because you hate.
Here we go.
DC, are you going to be sweating the World Cup?
No. I mean, I
Oh
would be.
no, I'm alone here.
I would be watching, but we got a show here. We got to be professionals, Crain. So no World Cup for me. I'm recording it. I will be watching it post show as I kind of finalize my lineups and all that stuff. So yeah, trying to get through the show without spoilers. But hey, it's soccer. There probably won't be any spoilers either. We'll get out of here. It'll still be 0-0, and we can watch the overtime and the inevitable penalty kick. So it's all good.
So if there are spoilers, guess who's going to give them?
Yeah, I figured.
A little guy named But guys, if you're out there watching, if you're giving something too, I'd like you to go ahead and click that like button, click that subscribe button. It helps us out. And Hoop, I know that you're going to keep track of the likes for us. We are shooting for 1,200 likes today. You get 1,200 likes. We get 1,200 likes. You get our plays of the day. So go ahead and click that like button. We should have probably about 2,000 of you guys watching right now. So click that like button. If you like winners, that's what you do. If you don't like the World Cup, I understand. You don't have to click the like button then. If you're just sitting there, God, these assholes are talking about the World Cup, I understand. Go Argentina, by the way. And let's go ahead and jump into it because I got to ask, how did you guys DC? How did you enjoy the Vikings comeback yesterday?
Very, very, very much so. I did not see that one coming down 33-0 at half and just came storming back. Incredible game. And in Miami, Buffalo was just as good of a game to watch as well. So super fun day of watching 10 hours of football and ready to do it all over again today.
All right, it shouldn't even have been that much of a sweat. Like, how do these refs still not understand the concept of like not blowing these fumbles dead? Just let it play out, and then you can go back and review it. I mean, that was a clear fumble recovery for a touchdown, and the guy blows.
Crazy they completed the greatest comeback in NFL history while working against the refs as well. It's just insane.
Yep.
All right, let's jump into our first game. We got the Falcons and Saints. It's a 43.5 point total. The Saints, 4.5 point favorites at home here. We got Alvin Kamara is going to be very popular despite not doing anything for a month and a half. Chris Olave is not going to get a lot of ownership. Nobody on the Falcons is going to be owned. Hoop, are you on the Kamara train?
I wasn't initially, and then I kind of dug into it like a little bit more. It's like they kept trying to force in Mark Ingram. I mean, maybe he was productive. I mean, I honestly can't remember those games, but they're using him a lot. I just can't imagine on some of these downs that they're going to go to the other guys besides him. So the workload should be safe here. It's been disappointing from a pass catching perspective with him. I mean, it's much, much lower, obviously, this season than it's been in the past. But the carry should be very stable. They're 4.5, 5 point favorites at home. I initially didn't love him, but after you kind of think about it with the Mark Ingram situation, he just has to get to work here. So I'm more in on him, but that's about it for me in this game. I mean, I'll have some of your boy Olave, maybe a little Drake London, but this game is not a good one for me. Defenses, I don't mind like the Saints defense.
Yeah, DC, we're in a different era of fantasy, right? Because 4 years ago, nobody would have played Kamara in this spot. Everybody would have looked at the game log, said, oh, he's been terrible. He hasn't been over 13 in 5 games. I don't want to mess with him. And yet here we are. It's almost 2023. Kamara's going to be popular despite not doing anything for over a month. Are you going to be on him today?
No, I wouldn't have played him 4 years ago, and I'm not going to play him today either. Look at this guy. Look what he's producing on the field. It's just nothing. I mean, the rush yards in the last 5 games, 26, 13, 42, 26, and 30, while being, targeted, 4 or 5 times a game. I know Mark Ingram's out of the equation now. It's not like he was getting a ton of work, and I don't know. I just think they'll probably let one of the other guys play the, 30% snap share that Kamara was playing. Kamara was getting the vast majority of the snaps still every week. They're just not using him. I don't know why, and the matchup is good here, but man, he has looked so bad, just not doing anything. If he was going to be, if nobody was going to play him, right, if he's going to be 5% owned or something like that, I think I would jump aboard. But what is he going to be? Maybe the second, third highest running back owned on this slate, I think. I'll pass. Expensive, owned, and has done nothing pretty much all year long. So, yeah, if Kamara beats me, he beats me. That's fine. But I'm not going to him, and really not a ton else in this game either. Just, Atlanta's got the rookie QB in there. I don't know what to think about that. Probably an upgrade for the pass catchers over Mariota, but I just think there are better spots in a 10-game slate. So pretty much passing on this game. I'm with Hoop. I do like both defenses a little bit.
I'm going to make the case for Drake London really quick, because when you get these rookie quarterbacks that come in, look, they want their little blanket, their security blanket. They want their safety net. And I don't know who the hell else on this team is supposed to be the safety net outside of Drake London. Desmond Ridder, I expect him to target London a lot. I could see London getting 8 or 9 targets here. It's not like this isn't the offense that it's going to be with that it was with Mariota. They're not going to be able to run the ball just a ton. Mariota's not, or Ritter's not going to be taking off. So I don't hate London here. He's not a core play for me, but he's somebody that I think is absolutely in play.
I like that call a little bit, because the Atlanta's offense, if you look at what they want to do, it's a lot of running the ball and then play action and then deep shots. But Mariota just had like the worst, deep ball accuracy in the entire league. You could see it when you watched him play. Ritter's supposed to have a big arm, right? I think he can throw the ball down the field, attack vertically. So yeah, I don't mind that London call, but I would probably keep it to that with Atlanta.
All right, let's move on to a game that I like. It's the Lions and the Jets. It's a 43.5 point total. The Jets 1.5-point favorites at home with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Hoop. We got a lot of Garrett Wilson talk. We got a lot of Zonovan Knight talk on the Lions side. Not a lot of ownership coming after they disappointed a couple weeks ago outside of every crappy wide receiver that they have. So, Hoop, talk to me about this Jets squad. Talk to me about your Lions. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, not as interested in the Lions as I've been recently. I mean, they're a team I just like much more at home, and the numbers kind of back that up. They're a much more productive offense when they're playing at home in that dome opposed to on the road, and the total kind of indicates that here. These Lions totals have been, one of the few teams all season where they've been right around 50 almost every game. This one's sitting at like 43. So very low total for Lion standards. I don't mind St. Brown. I will play him just because he just has so many paths to kind of get there and smash. And I still think the price tag's wrong on him. I think he should just be consistently like an 8K wide receiver, and he's sitting at 7-8. But the secondary pieces are much tougher now for the Lions with, Jamison Williams getting mixed in. They have Raymond, Reynolds, DJ Chark. So I'm not going to mess with those guys. St. Brown's the only guy in the Lions that I'm going to play today. And then the Jets, I was somewhat excited to play them with Mike White in there. I honestly think it is a downgrade going to Zach Wilson. The connection for Garrett Wilson's much better with White than Wilson. I'm still going to play Wilson on DK 6K. The FanDuel price tag's probably a little bit much for me at like 7-8. Zonovan Knight, I mean, people are just making the case to like not play him. I'm gonna play him today. You have a cheapish running back getting basically all the work now. They clearly want this guy to be the running back. 17 carries, 2 catches, so he gets the carries, he gets receptions as well. They're slight favorites at home. I'll play him. And then Elijah Moore at 3.6, I have moderate interest. But like I said, I would have preferred all these pass catchers much more if Mike White was in there. But Knight, St. Brown, I think are still very strong plays.
I'm just saying that we have played guys against the Lions all season.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
Zach Wilson's going to be 2%.
Yeah, no, I get it, but he sucks. That's the problem.
He does suck, but we've played worse quarterbacks against the Lions, haven't we?
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
Who are the worst quarterbacs in Zach Wilson?
That's a good point. Yeah, now I flip back with DC.
Has Davis Mills played the Lions yet?
Maybe on par with Zach Wilson. You played some guys against the Lions, but I'm worried about this Jets offense. I mean, it looked terrible with Zach Wilson behind center. None of the wide receivers did anything. Even Zonovan Knight, I get the love for him. I'll probably have a little bit of it myself, but still splitting the backfield to some degree with Michael Carter. And Detroit's actually been pretty solid against running backs, especially over the second half of the season. They completely bottled up Dalvin Cook last week. And yeah, I mean, I think this game could potentially be pretty low scoring. I think Jets obviously have a very good defense and a bad offense. Detroit, their defense, I think, a little bit underrated, especially that run defense. And man, they have really struggled on the road, but they've faced kind of a gauntlet of defensive opponents when they've gone on the road, but they have one here too, right? Going into New York to face a team, both these teams fighting for their playoff lives. So I think this game's going to be low scoring. I would stick to Zonovan Knight maybe Garrett Wilson, Amon St. Brown. Those guys are okay plays, but I'm not super excited about any of them. And I think Zonovan Knight may be the highest owned running back on the entire slate, which, you can poke some holes in his game. So, looking at Hoop Score, I think we're on a lot of the same pages, but maybe that's one spot where we're a little different.
I don't hate Zach Wilson. I'll be on an island there.
Go ahead, Crain. He's all yours.
No, I know. Trust me. I know nobody's going to fight me over Zach Wilson. I just know exactly where the ball's going, and I want to pick on the Lions. I know it's not
going into the turf is where it's going.
Yeah. Or into the Lions. I don't know.
Lions. I actually like the Lions defense a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's fine too. Like I'm just going to roll the dice on Mr. Zach Wilson. All right. One game that won't be low scoring. It's the Chiefs and the Texans. 48.5 point total. KC 14.5 point favorites on the road. And Mr. Always Mahomes, is this always Mahomes for you?
It's got to be to some extent, right? Although quarterbacks against Houston haven't done that much most of the year just because they haven't had to, right? Houston's offense, one of the very, very worst in the entire league. I don't see that changing anytime soon, despite last week where they almost maybe should have upset the Cowboys. I think that was kind of their Super Bowl, so to speak. I expect them to come kind of crashing down to earth here. And maybe that, I was a little worried about a kind of a letdown game for Kansas City against Houston here, but listen, they've got to keep winning, right? They're tied with Buffalo for the best record in the AFC. They can't afford to lay off the gas. So yeah, I think Kansas City can kind of get whatever they want here. Obviously, usually it goes through Mahomes. But I think both running backs, Isaiah Pacheco getting 20 touches a game. I mean, that could even go up in this game against Houston, assuming KC runs away with it. McKinnon obviously had the huge game last week. He's got to be in play too, right? I mean, it's pretty much a 50-50 snap share between these two guys. KC can involve their running backs. McKinnon obviously doing it through the air, Pacheco on the ground, but both guys can get involved in the spot that they're not is not their strength as well. So I do like Pacheco and McKinnon. Obviously, would play them together. Have to love Travis Kelce as we do every week. And then wide receiver wise for KC, we saw Juju kind of get going. He had that bad concussion back in week 10, I think, and kind of had
it was forever ago.
Yeah, so a slow couple of games after that, but back to a full goal last week against Denver. 9 receptions, 74 yards, a touchdown. He's my favorite wide receiver if you're looking to pair up Mahomes. Houston side, I don't think you can completely ignore it just because they have the same scenario they had last week with Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins both out. We saw Chris Moore, 11 targets, 124 yards on 10 catches. He's 4,200 again. And, this team, if they're not just going to completely give up, they've got to throw the ball somewhere. You can certainly move the ball in Kansas City. So Chris Moore has to be back in play. He'll be more popular than he was last week, but I still like him. You could go to Philip Dorsett if you wanted there. And then on the running back side, they're missing their star rookie Dameon Pierce, placed on IR. It's going to be Rex Burkhead and Dare Ogunbowale. I think it'll be Ogunbowale in the pass catcher role, which is obviously the role that you want, right? Going up against Kansas City in a game you think you're going to be trailing. He's 4,700 DraftKings, 5K even, I believe, on FanDuel. I like him quite a bit. It's a little bit of a risky play, but it does provide some salary relief. And, he could catch 5 or 6 passes at that price point. That would probably be enough. So definitely like this game overall.
Yeah, it's weird that we're having this Texans wide receiver conversation. Like, that's just not something you would have expected a few months ago. But here we are, obviously no Brandon Cooks, no Nico Collins. Yeah. Chris Moore is going to get all the ownership. I'm seeing him nearly 30% owned. But, you mentioned Philip Dorsett. I think he's interesting in tournaments for $900 cheaper. I don't even hate Amari Rodgers in tournaments. Like, this is a guy that had big playability. He was obviously absolute trash with the Packers, but he did see it was 5 or 6 targets last week, and he can easily house one, a lot like Jameson Williams last week, where I don't mind Amari Rodgers if you're, if you want a real deep tournament flyer. I don't think it's crazy because people are going to play Chris Moore, and I get it. He had all the targets last week. I know Hoop's going to play Chris Moore, but I mean, these other guys are $1,000 cheaper, and I don't think that it's an absolute lock that Moore sees all the targets. Hoop, talk to me about this game. What are you doing with this Texans wide receiver situation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play Chris Moore, but I'm playing the other guys too. Dorsett, Rogers, I think are both fine options for 1,000 cheaper. I think you laid it out perfectly, both of you guys. I don't know how much Daria I'll have. I mean, they just do this weird stuff with like Burkhead. I'll build my team. If I need another cheap guy, I would toss him in there, but not a priority. I'll be focusing more on the wide receivers. And then on the Chiefs side, pretty much agree. I mean, it's I'm going to have some Mahomes. I mean, I think this is a week where Mahomes comes in lower owned than we typically see, just because people are going to see the matchup with the Texans and the narrative. They're going to say, oh well, it's going to be a Pacheco game. He's going to get the touchdowns. I like Pacheco too, but I am going to have some Mahomes to Kelsey, Mahomes to Juju. The other guys though, a little bit dicey. I mean, they have so many other wide receivers and random tight ends they throw it to. So I'm just going to focus on the core guys because I don't necessarily think they get a ton of ownership. So Mahomes to Juju and Kelsey, and then some Pacheco as well. And then those Texans wide receivers, I think we're all kind of on the same page in this game.
I think, yeah, the narrative, that quarterbacks don't do well against Houston's like, don't you think the Chiefs are going to score 5 touchdowns in this game? Probably.
They're projected to score 31 points. I mean, that's the highest on the slate by at least like 3 or 4.
Right. And the Chiefs have more of those coming through Mahomes and their quarterback than I think any other team in football. So I wouldn't really expect that to change despite, just a little bit of a tough matchup or whatever.
Guys, a little house cleaning. Click that like button. We're trying to get to 1,200 likes today. That's what you need to get our plays of the day. So a little thumbs up button. Appreciate that. Click that for us. Helps us out over here at RunPureSports. And also, Hoop, I know you've been dying to hear this. Would you like an update on the soccer game?
I think DC is recording it, so I don't know if he wants to. I'm guessing it's 0-0 though. That would be my guess.
Sorry for the spoilers, DC.
I haven't missed a damn thing.
No, it's you missed a couple injuries, a couple guys flailing around.
Oh yeah, Argentina. Oh yeah, those guys.
No, it was France. The France
goalie.
Okay. The France goalie. He was down for the count, but he has made, thankfully, a full recovery. All right, let's talk Eagles and Bears. One of the more interesting games on the slate, I think. A 48.5-point total. Philadelphia, 8.5-point favorites. And obviously, Jalen Hurts, all the dude does is crush. He just gets there every freaking week. Floor as high as it gets. Miles Sanders, he's been getting there. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. A lot of names on this Philadelphia Eagles team have been getting there lately. And on the Bears side, I don't think it's crazy to play Justin Fields. He's 7-4. I know the team total is low, but I mean, it's, I'm a little basketball reference. He's basically the Russell Westbrook of the NFL. He just does everything when he's out there. And so Justin Fields, we know he's going to get points. He's going to get points passing, rushing. If they score, he's probably going to be involved. So I don't mind Fields here in tournaments. Hoop, I like this game a lot. All the pieces are expensive, but I like it. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, we're in lockstep. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's usually a bad thing, for being honest.
But the Eagles, you know the story with the Eagles, guys. Hurts is going to be lower owned than he should be. I'm just going to make sure I'm over the field on Hurts. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, always low owned. People want to play Devontae Adams and Jamar Chase over A.J. Brown. He's got the slate breaking upside, and you don't need to allocate a ton of resources in terms of ownership to get way over the field. So I want, Hurts with those two guys. It's simple. I want some Miles Sanders. I mean, when you're looking at GPPs, you got to look at guys that can break slate. Sanders broke basically 3 slates this season. It's pretty big. So I'm keeping him in my player pool. Then I think the Bears keep this competitive and potentially win. I mean, they're not a great team, but they have one of the best home field advantages in football. So I think we do see a back and forth game here. I want some Fields. I don't mind David Montgomery. I mean, he's not going to be competing with anyone for carries, really. Evans and this Ebner guy behind him. And then Cole Kmet. I mean, Cole Kmet has been good when Justin Fields is in there. I don't really want to mess with the wide receivers. I mean, you pull up some of these lineup pages and they have like 7 or 8 guys listed. Who the hell knows who's going to play? It doesn't matter. You're playing Field because he's running the ball. So there's very clear pass. I think most of these guys are low owned. A 48 total here. I think the Bears can keep it close. So I really, really like this game here today.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And I'm with you on these Bears receivers. Like, I just can't imagine playing any of these dudes. DC, are you in this game as well?
Yeah, I was all over the Eagles last week, but I had some Sanders too, but it was mostly the passing attack. The passing attack got off to just a a super hot start in the first quarter and second quarter, and then they were up big and kind of Miles Sanders controlled the second half. I wouldn't be shocked if you saw something similar here. I do think Chicago's got a better chance to stay in this game because it's, in Chicago. In Philadelphia, I'd be a little worried that it could turn into a blowout quickly. It's just this Eagles offense, I said the same thing last week. It's so concentrated, especially with Dallas Goedert still out for another week. It's just all A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith through the passing game, and then Miles Sanders on the ground. You got Jalen Hurts, who they're so hard to stop, the Eagles, to get off the field because you get like 3rd and 4, and they have so many options when you've got Jalen Hurts who can just run it for the 4 yards if it's there, or, pass it. And the offensive line is great. So I certainly expect this Philadelphia offense to keep on clicking. I'm kind of leaning the Miles Sanders route today, but I will have exposure to the passing game. It's very simple. Pair up Hurts with A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith or both. And then, on teams you don't have them, get some Miles Sanders, right? I think the Eagles are pretty much I think maybe the most straightforward offense, but a great offense in the entire NFL. Chicago side, I'm with you, Crain. I mean, I don't mind the Fields play. Like, if they're going to keep this game close, they're going to have to put up points because Philadelphia is going to, and they don't have a lot on offense. I mean, Montgomery, kind of a grinder, right, but not an explosive player. And then the pass catchers, man, just decimated right now for Chicago. Chase Claypool also out with this game. Mooney obviously still on the IR. I mean, their wide receivers are Equanimeous St. Brown, Dante Pettis, and Byron Pringle. It really doesn't get any worse than that, all with bad matchups against a really good Philadelphia secondary. So Cole Kmet, I think, is interesting here. I do think attacking with tight ends is the best spot to attack this Philly defense. And he's the best pass catcher they have left, right? Getting targets recently. He plays the toughest position. So I really do like Cole Kmet here for Chicago. Whether, if you're pairing him with Fields, that's great. I think you can play him, without Fields as well, especially in Eagles stacks. Cole Kmet would be my favorite run back.
Yeah, nobody's going to play Cole Kmet. I mean, he can't be on. So, yep, I don't mind that at all. What I do mind, though, is you guys not clicking the like button. Go ahead and click that like button. Help us out over here at RunPureSports. Trying to get 1,200 likes. You want our plays of the day? You want Hoops play of the day? You want DC's play of the day? You want my play of the day? Click that like button. We're trying to get to 1,200. We got about 2,000 of you watching right now. So it's going to be a tall task, but I know you can do it. Click that like button. Help us out. But this next game. Guys, do we really have to talk about Steelers-Panthers?
No.
No? Okay. All right, skip. No, we're not skipping over. We can't skip over it because we have – just kidding. We have nobody in this game. This is going to be a quick one. Hoop, do you like anybody in the Steelers-Panthers game with a total of 37.5 and the Panthers 2.5-point favorites?
Have some Freiermuth potentially, and then maybe Donta Foreman, but that's about it. Nothing super exciting here.
DC, what's going on in soccer is a lot more interesting than this game.
No, I don't want to hear it, Crain.
All right, I can't believe I can't get spoilers. Like, I'm going to be a little respectful, but if I cheer, you know that one of the teams has scored, okay?
You can see you watching that TV above your computer screen.
Of course I'm watching the TV. Yes, I'm watching the TV.
You're not fooling anybody, just so you know.
I'm not trying to fool anybody.
Yeah, I'm with Hoop. I think Foreman and Freiermuth are fine, but I'm not excited about either guy, and probably mostly just skipping this game.
All right. There's news in soccer.
Is it Messi?
Messi! That's a goal off the penalty. Argentina. All right. Let's talk Dallas at Jacksonville. 47.5-point total. Dallas, 3.5-point favorites on the road against our Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, he got there for us last week. Big boy game. Christian Kirk did not get there. Evan Ingram certainly did. And on the Cowboys side, it's just Tony Pollard every week. And every week he's not owned, and he just seems to crush all the time. DC, I'm going to start with you. Are you going back to Pollard this week?
Yeah, why not? I mean, the dude is just absolutely elite. Of course, you've got Zeke there. It's a little bit annoying, but they're doing enough to get these guys enough touches, right? Pollard getting 15 to 20 touches most weeks. He's super explosive, and he has a great matchup here against Jacksonville. I mean, this whole Cowboys offense, I think, should move the ball with ease against this Jacksonville defense, especially after that little wake-up call last week, right, where Dallas kind of came in sleepwalking a little bit against Houston. Now they go on the road. You got to expect that they're going to be a little bit more prepared to come out and play well in this one. So, yeah, Dak Prescott, 6,200. Haven't been on him much this season. I think he's a really good option. You could play him with Pollard. Pollard does a lot of damage through the air as well. CeeDee Lamb, I think, is a good play. Dalton Schultz as well. So plenty of options on Dallas. The hardest part is just kind of picking out which one, because they do have a lot of guys who could potentially do damage. But yeah, I do think Dallas offense is going to put up a big number in this one. I do think you want some exposure to them. Jacksonville side, I don't know. I'm kind of expecting Dallas's defense. Obviously, they were super chalk last week and just did nothing against Houston. Finished with 4 points. What were they, like 30% owned, something crazy like that? Yeah, this week, though, if you want to play the bounce back narrative, they're going to be like 1% owned going on the road here to face Jacksonville. I know the Jaguars offense has looked good recently, but they faced the worst pass defense in the league in Tennessee last week. Lawrence, yes, he lit it up. Did it in Detroit. He was okay against Detroit the week prior. I'm not 100% sold on this Jacksonville offense. I still think this Dallas defense is one of, if not the very best in football, and especially coming off a rough performance. I kind of expect a big bounce back performance from Dallas's defense. So 1% owned for maybe the most talented big play defense in the entire league. I know they're expensive, but yeah, sign me up for that. So I think Dallas runs away with this one.
Yeah, I like that call. Look, Dallas has to be pissed after nearly losing the. I was hoping they lost last week just because I knew I could just play the shit out of all of them, because they might win this game.
Yeah, but even winning that game, they're coming in.
Yeah.
This one. Yep.
I mean, it was so ugly, and they should have lost it, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. Like last week, I was on Trevor Lawrence a little bit. I don't think I'm going to be doing that this week. And even these receivers, like. Hoop, are you playing any of these receivers on Jacksonville?
Zay Jones going for 40 again? I
hope not.
Ingram,
I hope not, because it ain't going to help me.
Yeah, that was painful to see. That hurt. I'm a little more excited about the Jaguars offense, just from a passing perspective. Like, seems like they're kind of shifting to a pass heavy approach. And, there's a lot of upside for guys like Kirk, Zay Jones, Ingram. Keep them in my player pool, not like not priority plays, I guess, because I could see this turning into a little bit of a back and forth. But I do also agree that I want some Cowboys defense as well, because I really do respect their defense. So I'm going to have some in 150, not like core plays, like I said. Not going to have a ton of ownership on these guys, but Kirk, Zay Jones, and Ingram, I think, are fine. On the Dallas side, I want to get some Tony Pollard. I'll probably end up being off Zeke here. I will have some Pollard. I'll have some Dak. I really like CeeDee Lamb. This seems like it could be just like a CeeDee Lamb like explosion spot. So I do like CD quite a bit. Dalton Schultz as well. Good price tag. At 4.4. So yeah, it's a good game. Even some Michael Gallup, because I am going to play some Dak here today. Just if by chance they get down on the road, could see them doing some damage. I mean, Dak hasn't had a real big game basically all season. Like him a little bit here today. So yeah, I'm in on this game for sure. CeeDee Lamb, I really do like though.
I've tried to make Michael Gallup work a few times.
Yeah, I know. It sucks.
Man, it's just an awful experience.
They still throw him deep balls and stuff, though. I mean, so they're still trying. They're still trying.
I mean, it's just like, it's wild because, like you said, they're still trying it a few times a game. You get excited. Here it comes. Nope, that was
the Robbie Anderson corollary.
Oh, my God. I am no longer Robbie.
Oh, man, yeah. They did get Robbie the ball at the end of the game. What was that? The showdown game, right? Where Kyler got hurt. They're feeding him.
They were feeding him. Watch out, world.
Feeding him for what did he get? 4 for 50.
Oh, watch out. Hungry.
He's hungry.
I bet that did pretty well in Showdown.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he had to be like probably 200 or something, I'd assume.
Let's talk Arizona at Denver because we are contractually obligated to do so. It's 36.5 point total. Denver, 2.5 point favorites, and it's Colt McCoy versus Brett Rippon. My God, DC. I see some running backs that are going to be owned here. I guess Jerry Jeudy's going to get some ownership. I'm perfectly fine avoiding this game. Are you playing these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to avoid James Conner. I mean, he's got like the best role in the entire league right now. He's pretty much out there every single snap with Colt McCoy behind center and going up against a tough Denver secondary. I mean, they're going to use James Conner as much as they can, right? On the ground, through the passing game. They get down near the goal line, it's going to James Conner. So you have to like him. 6,900 DraftKings. What is he? 7,200 on FanDuel. Just a great price on both sides. So love James Conner. No chance I'm playing Colt McCoy or probably honestly any of his receivers, Hopkins, Brown, Robbie. I'll pass on the passing game for Arizona, but yes, give me some James Conner. And on the other side, Denver, I mean, is it really that much of a downgrade going from Russell Wilson to Brett Ripien?
Brett Ripien, yeah.
Can't be that big of a downgrade. Wilson's been terrible all year long. So I'm not playing Brett Ripien, but I believe Arizona's given up the most points to tight ends all year. Ripien, I think, did target Greg Dulcich, who's had 8 targets in back-to-back games. He's still cheap, 3,600. He'll be popular, but I do really like the matchup and talent for him. And yeah, I mean, I don't really downgrade him at all for the Russell Wilson missing out. Maybe some people will, but yeah, Dulcich I think is fine. Jerry Jeudy coming off the big game I think is fine. And then James Conner, I don't see how you couldn't love him in this spot.
Hoop, this does not seem like a spot you're going to like, guys. Like 36.5 point total. There's no way Hoop likes these guys.
Well, I mean, just running backs and defenses. I mean, James Conner, DC laid out perfectly. The role is insane. Now they don't have their quarterback. I will say Colt McCoy is not like the worst backup. Do I expect the Cardinals to come out and have a ton of success? No, but I think he can like manage this game for sure. But it's got to go through James Conner. The price
perfect
is
for
right.
Conner, right? Little dump off. Colt wants to get the ball out of his hands. I mean,
yeah. I'm in on Conner for sure. I mean, the endorsement for Colt McCoy does not mean that I like the pass catchers for the Cardinals. Let me be clear, but I think he's not a disaster, I guess, as a backup quarterback. In on Conner, maybe Latavius Murray. I mean, that's gross, but they are favored at home. And, you get that correlation with the defense. Dulcich a little bit, but man, I don't want to be high on offense here. That's for sure. No, but I do agree with the point, though. Russell Wilson, I mean, Ripien cannot be a massive downgrade to Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson was one of the worst quarterbacks in football all season long.
Yeah, if you want a deep contrarian play here, the Broncos are down to 2 running backs: Latavius Murray, who has been getting most of the work, and then Marlon Mack behind him. Mack used to be a pretty damn good player for the Colts. Murray had that long 60-yard touchdown catch where he looked fast, obviously coming back from like a serious injury. I don't think it's impossible that Denver kind of sees a little bit what they have in Mack going forward after he showed, that he still got the burst. So he'll be super, super low owned, but he's very cheap, 4,400. He will definitely get some work. And, if you had a spot where Latavius Murray got hurt, which certainly is possible. He's an old man, right? And I don't know. He's not that good anyway. I think it would be Mack who came in for all the work. So obviously you're not maybe going to play him on your main teams, but probably 2% ownership. I think he's worth a shot at 4,400.
I'll take the under on 2% ownership too. So
yeah,
I get it. It's just, man, playing. I don't know. I just don't want to play the Broncos backup running back. Like
when I win $1 million with Marlon Mack, I want to be able to go back to the show.
I'll tell you what, that's a jersey that you'll be the only one to have too. Guys, click that like button, click that subscribe button. We're trying to get 1,200 likes today. If you want our plays of the day, go ahead and click that little thumbs up button. It helps us out.
Man, we're struggling on the likes.
Where are we at, Hoop?
It's 8:07. So yeah, the plays of the day are not looking very likely today.
Everybody's watching soccer or watching Crain watch soccer, and they're not.
Yeah. A lot of distracted people out there.
That's okay, because
I just wanted to pass the blame instead of DC being on instead of Big T. It's Crain watching soccer. That's the problem.
Yes. Did you at least bet on it, Crain? Please tell me you bet on this.
Oh yeah, I got some lineups.
Okay. Go to the showdown for soccer. Okay. Was it big prize pools?
Oh, did they had 100K up top?
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, for freaking soccer. Yeah. I mean, the guy who scored the goal is like 35% owner of the captain, so not that big of a deal, but still. Yeah, we got the goal, baby. Go Messi, go Argentina. Anyways, yeah, click that like button, click that subscribe
Even
button.
if I wanted to watch soccer, I don't think I could potentially do it just because of this blaring light that is shining in my face and in Crane's over Crane's left corner.
That's just the plays of the day coming in.
That would be
They're
great.
burning bright today.
All right, guys. Yeah, click the like button. We got 800 right now. We're trying to get to 1,200, and you get to 1,200, you get our plays of the day. And a couple guys that we're getting our plays of the day that we're paying attention that did pretty damn well. We had 2 Millie Maker winners over at RunPureSports over the weekend. Deepwater and Gordon Jonathan both shipping $1 million. Big time congrats going out to those guys. And yeah, I mean, 2 Millie winners. I think it's like 3 in 2 weeks too. I mean, it's just been crazy. We've got a lot of good stuff going on over at RunPureSports. We got spreads, NBA rundown, we're talking TV shows, NBA hardwoods, as I was on yesterday, and of course the final countdown, which we're gonna have the final countdown after this show. And we've got premium going on, and obviously you get the core plays, you get just everything going on with premium. Hoop, explain to the people who aren't members out there what they're missing by not being members.
Yeah, I mean, the big incentive to join is definitely all sports, one price. So, I mean, you get a membership at RunPureSports, you get access to everything on the site. It's not like the other sites when new sports start, they charge you like $300-400 for each sport. We do it different. You get a membership at RunPure, you get absolutely everything. NFL playoffs will be, right around the corner. PGA will be in full swing when the new year starts. The MMA content is huge. So you get everything on the website for one price. So that is a big time incentive join. And we have that partnership going with SaberSim. So if you want SaberSim as your optimizer, you can get access to that right on our website as well.
Yeah, and if you guys want 25% off your first payment on a monthly sub, SaberSim's not included, but ho 25. That's right. Use promo code ho 25 to get that 25% discount on your first payment for a monthly sub. Good times going on over at RunPureSports. Guys, click that like button. Helps us out. And let's move on to our next game. It's the Patriots and the Raiders. 45.5 point total. The Raiders 1.5 favorites at home. There's some question about this running back situation for New England. It sounds like Ramondre is going to go. Damian Harris, he is out. I know some people are concerned about Ramondre's the injury, the workload. I'm not. I'm saying if he's active, I assume he's going to be good to go, and this is a good spot. DC, I'll throw it to you. What do you think about Ramondre and this Patriots offense and the Raiders offense?
I'm nervous about Ramondre. So this is a must-win game for New England, fighting for the playoffs. Last week, Ramondre must have another Argentina goal there.
We do have another Argentina goal.
Very
nice. Wow. Big stuff.
Yeah, I'll keep going. So Ramondre rolled or sprained his ankle once in that game. He came back in, sprained it again, right? Hurt the same ankle twice, same injury twice, came out for the rest of the game. The backups for New England. Remember that crazy showdown slate where it's like a 0.07% captain or something won. But I don't know, they saying he has a good chance to play. He clearly was hurt just last week with an ankle that was sprained bad enough to miss the rest of the game. So I'm worried he's not 100% healthy. It could even be a kind of a smokescreen thing for New England. It makes me nervous with the Ramondre. I don't think I'm going to get there at 7K. I get it if you want to roll the dice. I just, way rather play James Conner at 6,900 than go to Ramondre at 7K myself. So he's a fade for me. The New England pass offense, I think, is a little bit interesting. Las Vegas, in my opinion, has the worst pass, or maybe worst or second worst pass defense in football. Jacoby Myers looks like he's going to be back from a concussion here. He's all the way down to 4,700. He was Mac Jones's favorite target. And, if Ramondre is banged up, they lost their kind of first down plotter running back, Damian Pierce. He's out for this game. You could see in a dome, the Patriots throw it a little bit more often than they usually do and should find success if they do so. So I do like Jacoby Myers a little bit. Been questionable all week, but cleared to play for a concussion. I don't think people will be on him just because he really hasn't been a part of content all week because it wasn't clear he was going to play. So Jacoby Myers, kind of my pivot there from Ramondre Stevenson. The other side, I'm nervous about the Raiders too. New England's got a really good defense. The Raiders just had that horrible loss to the Rams, right? eliminated essentially from the playoffs at this point. Josh Jacobs, they say he's going to play, but man, he's carried such a huge workload all year long. Now the Raiders are out of it against a tough defense, up to, I think, a season high price point of 8,100, and still going to be very owned. So I'm nervous they maybe scale it back just a little bit on Josh Jacobs too. It would, serve Jacobs well to do so. He's still playing for a contract, a free agent after the year, has carried this team all year long. I'm worried that maybe he doesn't get the huge workload that he normally does. Obviously, Devontae Adams is a good play, but tough defense here. And, if you buy into the narrative, New England likes to take away the number one option. Maybe they slow down Adams and Jacobs, because really that's all, or mostly all of Las Vegas, what they have. They do get two receivers back, I think. Renfro and Darren Waller both set to play in this game. So that could potentially take away from some of the work from Adams and Jacobs here as well. So I don't know, enough question marks in this game that I'm not going to go crazy with it. I do think you'll see some decent ownership on Ramondre, Jacobs, Devontae Adams, but I'm mostly looking elsewhere myself.
I even think Darren Waller's interesting here at 4-1. I mean, returning from injury, like I know Foster Moreau's been solid, but at 4-1, it's just, I don't know, it's tough to really go too wrong at that price tag. I don't mind it. Who do you mind? Waller? You want Jacobs, Ramondre? Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, I do like that Waller call. I mean, he's 5-1 on FanDuel. He's 4-1 on DK. Like, again, not a core play, but in tournaments, yeah, I'm gonna mix him in a little bit. Devontae Adams, Jacobs in this top range. I prefer Eckler. I prefer Derrick Henry over him, so I probably won't have much Jacobs. But Waller and Adams, definitely interested in on the Raiders side. Yeah, the Ramondre Stevenson thing is weird. I mean, I don't know what to think of the situation. It's just a tough read, and it's a 4 p.m. Eastern game. We're not probably going to get any additional information. I don't know if anything's come through, but yeah, I mean, I think there's enough good running back plays where we don't have to mess with it. I mean, it is unfortunate because he is a guy that has gone off a couple times this season. Actually, no. I mean, he's been his best games 25. All season long, really? Why do I think he had bigger games? Yeah,
He's just got a big floor, man. He hasn't really.
Okay, so yeah, maybe I'm just fine fading him.
Jacoby Myers gone because he might be hurt. So it's
maybe I'll just be off of him. On FanDuel, he's expensive enough where you don't even have to really. I mean, he's like 8.5 on FanDuel. Like he's right there with those top end guys. So yeah, probably just a fade there. Jacoby Myers, I'm fine with. Maybe some Aguilar, Hunter Henry. Fine with those guys. I mean, nothing too crazy here for me.
Speaking of crazy, Hoop, how are we looking with the likes?
Yeah, not very good. So it is kind of crazy.
Good. Guys, I know DC's on the show, so you don't want to click the like button. I get that, okay? I don't even want to click the like button with DC, but you know what? I took one for the team, and I clicked the damn button. So click the damn like button. We're trying to get to 1,200. Helps us out over here at Run Pure Sports, and we are happy to be helping you out. Let's talk Titans at Chargers. 46.5 point total. The Chargers 3-point favorites at home. And DC, I'm going to start with you because we have a situation here with Justin Herbert where I thought he would be more popular than he is. He's going to throw the ball 50 times. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, they're both a little bit too cheap. It seems like a very obvious stacking situation. And I thought Herbert was going to be close to 20%. It doesn't look like it's going to get close to that. But, man, this is a spot that's awfully tough to ignore.
Yeah, sign me up for big Justin Herbert. I think he's the Stones today at the quarterback position. If you look at what the Chargers are doing, like they're throwing the ball constantly. I mean, the pass attempts for Herbert last 3 games, 51, 47, and 47. They've had almost no success running the ball with Austin Eckler. Obviously, they can throw it to him. Herbert finally has all his weapons healthy. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Joshua Palmer, all good to go. Jared Everett also healthy. So he's got, his 5 big weapons. Obviously, he was banged up early in the year, no longer the case. And in Tennessee, I mean, they are just getting torched through the air. Last 2 weeks gave up 386 yards passing to Philadelphia and only 67 on the ground. And then last week against Jacksonville, 368 yards passing and only 60 on the ground. This is a number 1 ranked rushing defense in the league and like the 28th ranked pass defense. And it's going up against a team in the Chargers who throw the ball more than anybody and haven't been able to run for shit for 5 weeks. So, if you put the pieces together, you got to think Herbert's going 50 plus attempts in this one again. He's got the weapons to throw to. All of his guys are relatively cheap. I think you can play any of Eckler, Allen, Williams, Palmer. I think will be really low owned, but I still like him. I think he's a high upside guy. And Gerald Everett at tight end. So it is a little bit difficult choosing between those guys, but I'll have a ton of Herbert, mixing and matching his pass catchers, mostly double stacks. I think he throws enough volume where those guys can, Keenan Allen can get there on receptions. Mike Williams or Palmer could get there with a long touchdown. So yeah, I am absolutely in on Herbert. And there's some decent bringbacks, I think, on Tennessee too. I mean, the Chargers defense has not been great. They're also down their best defender, Derwin James, is going to miss this game. I think that's a nice bump for guys like our guy Chig Okonkwo and Austin Hooper. And, even the wide receivers, you've got Traylon Burke still out. So it's really just Robert Woods, who seems pretty dusty, but I do like Westbrook Akine a little bit. Had that huge week 4 or 5 weeks ago, decent game last time. He's out there 97% of snaps. He's cheap, 4,100, fairly explosive. So yeah, I like the pass catchers some for Tennessee. And then of course, if you want to go to the big dog, Derrick Henry, Chargers giving up the most yards per rush attempt in the entire league. So it's a great matchup for Henry too. So all the way around, I think we could see a potential shootout here in on Herbert, and then I'll kind of mix and match who I bring it back with the Titans. I don't even think you have to do so if you don't want to, but yeah, absolutely love this Chargers passing attack.
You mentioned Robert Woods. I know he's dusty. I know he's bad, but he's 4-4 and might see 7 or 8 targets. I don't mind Robert Woods this week.
He's just so dusty, but yeah.
Oh, I know he's bad. I know he's bad.
I prefer Akine a little bit to my, But.
Okay. Hoop, are you honest with Justin Herbert?
100% in lockstep. Everything that was mentioned, I fully agree with. And all I'd say is sign up and go check out the course. How about that? I have nothing else to add. Use that promo code HOHOHO25.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's I talked about it on the first look show. I talked about it on the cash show on Friday. This is I think one of the best spots of like the season. So
see, it's funny because like I was doing my first look show on Wednesday and I'm just going through and I'm like, I don't know how you get a better spot than this.
It's literally perfect.
Yeah, he's going to throw the ball 50 times against the Titans second. Like it's just, I look at the ownership and I see under 15%, and I don't understand why it's going to be under 15%. And we talked about some of these other quarterbacks we like. Hurts, great. We like Hurts fine. We like Justin Fields, Mahomes. Okay, great. But it's difficult to imagine a situation better than the one Justin Herbert finds himself in this week. And, as DC said, maybe the double stack is the way to get a little bit different because people still like the single stack. So you go Herbert, Williams, and Allen. You can throw Eckler in there. Chargers onslaught. I don't even hate that.
I think the reason he'll be a little bit lower, he hasn't had a 30-point game all season long, Justin Herbert, which is kind of crazy to say, but
he hasn't had his weapons.
He hasn't had his weapons. He was banged up early. Like, are you really
he was injured? Yeah.
Are you really questioning whether Justin Herbert has upside? It's just, of course not. If you take a step back and really look at it, of course he has massive upside when he's throwing the ball that often to really good weapons in this matchup. So, part of my process, early in the week, I kind of look at, you do your first look, and then I try to kind of poke holes in things I feel strongly about. This one, the further you dig deep into, the further you dig, the more you like. There's just nothing not to like here for this passing attack. So yeah, we're all in lockstep here.
Yeah, but it's the nut spot. It just absolutely is the nut spot. And guys, if you're enjoying the nut spot here over on RunPureSports, go ahead and click that like button. It helps us out over here at RunPureSports. Hoop, I know it's not good, but where are we at, buddy?
I know it's not good. At least the soccer's going well for you because the likes certainly are not. 984.
Okay, guys. We ain't even at 1,000. So, okay. Yeah. I'm just going to lay it out for you guys, all right? You want the plays of the day. We got one game left. One game. So if you want the plays of the day, you better hurry the hell up and click that like button. We're trying to get to 1,200 likes. We're 216 short. Did that math in my head. How about that? So
Nice.
yeah. So guys, help us out here at Run Pure Sports. We are thrilled to be doing these shows for you for free, but a little bit back, click that like button. It just takes a few seconds. So we would appreciate it if you would do that. We're trying to get to 1,200 likes. Be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. All right. Bengals at Tampa.
I like
Bay.
that. That's a good one.
Thank you.
That's a good
Good life advice too.
Yeah.
What?
Good life advice as well, not just
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just for the YouTube likes, you can use it for other aspects of life.
You get more than just plays here. You might not get the plays of the day, but you'll get good Crain life advice. So.
Yeah, buddy, that is not what you want. If you're going to somebody for life advice, guess what? Newsflash. It should not
Go
be.
to who among the three of us?
Yeah,
Come on.
Between the three of us, it's not even close.
No, I'm no angel.
You're not an angel, but buddy, the competition is low here. The bar is very.
We gamble. We gamble for a living. There's better quality people out there. I can promise you.
Not on this show. Not on this show.
We gamble, and I know at DC, me and DC like to drink a lot. So maybe maybe it is Ukraine.
Oh, boy.
You don't drink as much as me in DC, so
I don't drink at all, man. I drink like once a year.
really.
Yep.
Good for you.
Just yeah, I know. We gotta have some good qualities. I guess that's it. All right.
Yeah, now you rose to the top of the ranks here on the show because you don't get hammered on a frequent basis. The standards are low.
I enjoy
and yet it was me and Hoop who were prepared for the start of the show, not Crain.
That's true.
It was so funny. I'm like, hey guys, can you hear me? Oh, we're live. What? Okay.
And then I like how you immediately try to deflect. You're like, well, why didn't you guys tell me? Why didn't I hear the countdown? Like, well, we tried telling you, and there was a countdown. So, I mean, but again, you have the baked in excuse for all this, and it's easily applicable. Mediacom. Mediacom.
But you know what? My Mediacom, I still got the soccer game on, so life's good. Click that.
People
like
are
button.
saying you look like a bong type of guy. I don't think you're on that side of things either.
Here, you want to know one of the bigger upsets ever? I've never done a drug.
Wow.
Never even tried.
Can't
Never.
say the same.
Dude, I like shit too much, man. I can't start trying that stuff. Like, I'm going to try gambling. Here I am 15 years later doing shows about gambling. Like, it's just, I like shit too much. I can't try that stuff.
Yeah,
It's just
good.
would not be good. Never had a cigarette. Never
I've never had a cigarette. I can,
Not
I'm with you on that one.
Here, hey, you want to see a funny joke? Hey, DC, have you ever had a cigarette?
I have, but I'm sub 10 cigarettes in my entire life.
Okay.
Wow,
I
would have taken the over for sure on that.
Yeah.
I would have definitely taken the over. That's actually one of the more surprising things that
I don't
has
really
occurred today.
I didn't get the point of cigarettes. They didn't do much for me. I'm like, no, this is not for me.
Yeah, same. Yeah, for sure. But that is kind of surprising. I would have had you pegged over 10.
I would have had you
guy.
as like a social smoker. Like, I'm gonna have a few beers, toss me a cigarette. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, you have enough beers. You don't need the cigarettes.
Living the dream. All right, Bengals at Bucks, 45.
They said that's why the light is shining in his house. Jesus is really coming for him. That's such a good comment.
I got to get rid of this light, man. I'm gonna have to move my computer or something, but I can't move it today because the game's on. But yeah, I need to get it because I don't know. It's just right over there. All right. Bengals at Bucks, 45.5 point total. The Bengals, 3.5 point favorites on the road here. Not a lot of ownership coming in through this game, despite a decent total, despite Jamar Chase being an absolute stud. Hoop, I'll kick it off with you. Do you have any interest in this one?
The chat's just
I don't have the chat up because I couldn't pull it up because I was trying to get the freaking stream to work, and it's just what I had to make decisions. I had to set
only two things at once. You got to watch soccer and do the show.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I'm glad you understand.
Oh, the chat's funny. Man, so I think the Bengals, the Bucks, man, what a disaster. First off, I mean, just an absolute disaster. Some of these guys are kind of showing up. Like, people still want to play like Evans and Godwin. Yeah, Crain, can I say unplayable? Have I used unplayable yet?
Not used your unplayable yet. You're good.
Okay, so like Godwin on FanDuel, I'm going to say is like unplayable. I'll consider him on DK, but I can't play him on FanDuel. And then Mike Evans, like the reverse. Like I can't imagine playing Mike Evans on like DraftKings. Maybe on FanDuel, but like unplayable to me on DK. Like this offense is atrocious. So that's where I'll start. On the Bengals side, very opposite. You know, Joe Burrow, Chase, they're phenomenal right now. I want some of those pairings. Joe Mixon's a guy I can't decide on, to be honest with you, because I think he's priced in a weird spot where a lot of people will be off him. I think he has a chance to come in low owned. I'm gonna see what you guys say on Mixon, because I'm not I could go either way on him. I'm not sold one way or the other. T. Higgins, I think, somewhat interesting, injured last week, coming back, 6.9K. Again, I think he could go a little overlooked. I don't even hate Tyler Boyd at 4.8 with Hurst out. I think those guys get a little bit of a boost, but yeah, I'm going to have some Cincinnati stacks after what Purdy did to this Bucs defense last week. Mixon undecided on.
Mixon, I don't know. Should we call in Big T?
Well, yeah, we know the answer there. We know the answer to that one.
I love that you gave Chris Godwin the unplayable. Somehow Zach Wilson didn't get it, but Chris Godwin did. Just this.
No, we could go back, because I do think we'll
what
see.
a world. DC, are you in on these Bengals?
To some extent, but man, like the shenanigans they pulled with T. Higgins, what they say, they claimed he got they took him off the injury report, then they claimed he got injured in warm up. Did he play one snap? I'm not sure. I think he's snuck out there for one snap when he wasn't supposed to, or something crazy like that. But just hard to trust. They already kind of proven that they'll fuck with fantasy players. Just I don't know. He makes me nervous, and he's not cheap, right? 6,900. Like I don't think he's that good a play, even if he's fully healthy and a full go. So I doubt I'll get to Higgins. It's Jamar Chase that I want mostly on the Bengals side of the ball. They're missing Hurst, maybe less than full health for Higgins. Tyler Boyd said like he can play through it, but I don't think he's 100% with that finger injury. It kind of leaves Jamar Chase there. And the running backs, Tampa Bay's defense is banged up here, missing Vita Vea for this game. Their big run stuffing nose tackle in the middle. That's got to be a nice boost for Joe Mixon and this running game. A couple other guys questionable as well. Antoine Winfield, Levante David. A couple other linebackers. So banged up Tampa Bay defense. Yeah, you can see Cincinnati, leaning on the run game here, especially with their pass catching core a little bit banged up. So I do like Joe Mixon. I'm usually off him. Makes me nervous to jump on the train. Usually it doesn't work out, but I will have some exposure there. Tampa Bay side, I'm with Hoop. I haven't played this team all year long, and not going to start today. So pretty narrow player pool here. Mixon, Jamar Chase, maybe a little Joe Burrow for me.
Yeah. So Hoop, how are we doing on the likes? Hoop's not even paying attention.
My kids are sick, and they're contacting me now. So I hope something. Yeah, I got the flu thing's going around, man. All these kids are getting this crap nowadays.
You just tell those little shits to leave you alone right now.
Yeah, it's like puke on the carpet, and we'll deal with it later. The likes, it's not going to happen today.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. For you members out there, you will be able to get our core plays in the Discord. We'll be hanging out in there, giving our core plays. DC, final thoughts on the slate for you?
Yeah, it's a good one. I think we're all kind of in lockstep on that Chargers passing attack. So, no plays of the day, but maybe a couple of them would have come from that team for me. They would have. And it's just a fun slate. I think you can go in, stack the Justin Herbert with his pass catchers multiple different ways, many ways to do it, and build out from there. So looking forward to week 15.
Hoop, final thoughts on the slate for you?
I think we're definitely in lockstep here with the games that we like, the targets. I'm actually looking forward to this slate quite a bit. I think this is going to be a good one. That sneaky game that we all kind of liked, I'm going to up my exposure to that Eagles and Bears game.
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of on the same page with that one. I think that could be the sneaky game today, high scoring, close competitive game. So that one kind of stands out. So that's the last little nugget before we get on out of here.
My last little nugget is don't be afraid to get weird with a few of these receivers, especially in the Texans game, because I know Chris Moore got all the targets last week. We don't know if that's going to continue. It could very easily be Philip Dorsett. It could very easily be Amari Rodgers. So if you're just, if you're multi-entering or even, you're not playing big, you want to kind of take a shot in a giant tournament on one of those guys, I don't mind that at all. But guys, that's going to do it for us. We got to get out of here. Hoop, what's coming up next over at RunPureSports?
Up to Lock Show. JSU, Dunkel, and Holden will be on there taking you up to lock. Not a ton of news that we're waiting on. NFL's done a great job this year, by the way. I know I say it every show, but the news has been out there like the night before for the most part. I think the biggest news is Ramondre Stevenson, and I don't think we're going to get any additional news on it. So that's kind of where we're at.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thanks to DC and Hoop for joining me. Thanks for Simon for producing for us. I'm Eric. Good luck in your contest today, everybody. We will catch you later. Peace.